On day 1, I spawned into the frozen lakes as an Ice Witherstorm! Whoa! Even as a baby Ice Witherstorm, I'm pretty awesome! And thank goodness, because I don't feel cold out here either! But my celebrations were interrupted when I heard the flapping of mighty wings coming towards me! I looked up and saw a huge ice dragon floating in the air above me!
You!
Me?
Don't be funny with me, boyo. What's your name?
I'm Zozo, mister!
I'm Ivan the Ice Dragon, and that means ice is my thing. You think you can steal my thing, you wee little Witherstorm? I'll teach you what it means to be truly ice cold.
Ivan fired a huge ice blast down towards me. It nearly hit me, but I was lucky enough to dodge at the last second. Hey, you almost hit me.
Yeah, that's what we in the business call a warning shot, dummy. The next one will come when you least expect it. You want to keep the icy cred? You've got 100 days to earn it, or frostbite is gonna be the least of your worries.
He unleashed an even more powerful ice blast, and this time I just had to run for my life. Gotta beat Ivan, or he's gonna freeze me to my doom. On day 2, I wandered further across the frozen lakes. In weather this freezing, even I started to feel the cold. This is so embarrassing for an Ice Witherstorm. Maybe I just need some food. I only have 10 hearts. It's important to keep my hunger bar filled up. I searched across the frozen lakes until I finally found an apple tree. It's not easy to grow food in a place this cold, so I needed to enjoy everything I could get. I broke down the tree and ate some of the apples, solving the hunger situation. But it didn't solve the situation of a dread thrall charging out of the distance.
Enjoy those apples, you little baby. That's such a baby thing to do. Eat apples.
Is it? I'm not sure I follow your logic here.
It makes sense when you're a dread thrall, okay? It's like a cultural thing. Anyways, let's fight. Ivan told me that a Witherstorm was trying to jack his style. I owe it to him to put you down.
The dread thrall ran at me and unleashed some powerful attacks. I wasn't strong enough to fight him yet, so all I could do was break away from the fight and run for my life. I got out of there as fast as I could, but as I cowered behind a pile of snow, I heard something approaching. I was terrified, worried that it could be the dread thrall. Instead, a Cyclops stepped out.
Come with me if you want to live.
How could I deny an offer like that? On day 3, the Cyclops led me across a safe part of the frozen lakes, telling me to keep as quiet as possible.
You need to keep a low profile around here if you want to last. Ivan's dread thralls are all over the place.
Where are you taking me?
Shh, somewhere safe. That's all you need to know.
I kept quiet as the Cyclops led me. Then he suddenly stopped.
This is as far as I'll go. It's too dangerous for us all to be in one place. Go forward 50 paces and you'll see a dodo hippogriff at a campfire. Speak to him and then come back to me when you're done.
Okay, understood. I followed the Cyclops' instructions until, predictably, I found myself at the campfire where the dodo hippogriff was waiting.
He sent you. Good. You follow orders. You might have a better chance of surviving than the last one.
Wait, what do you mean, the last one?
You think you're the first Ice Witherstorm to spawn here? There have been many, and Ivan has destroyed them all out of his evil jealousy.
But if he's after Ice Witherstorms, why are you and that Cyclops guy so afraid of him and his goons?
Your people have the worst of it, but Ivan is a nightmare for all of us. Anyone who bruises his ego gets destroyed. We want him gone, and with our powers combined, we can make it happen.
What do I need to do?
Go with Cyclops. Train. Get stronger. If he finds you this threatening now, imagine what you can do when you reach full power.
From day 4 to day 5, I carried out the dodo hippogriff's wishes and left with the Cyclops. I knew that if I was going to survive this, I needed to put a roof over both of our heads. Sit tight, Cyclops. I'm gonna make us some tools and get started. I knocked down a tree with my Witherstorm strength and made the pieces into a wooden pickaxe. From there, I mined into the ground and collected some stone. I had to be careful where I mined and built, because some areas were just a thin layer of ice over water. When I had enough stone, I built myself a stone pickaxe and a stone sword. With my spare stone, I started building a basic 2-room base to protect myself and Cyclops from the elements.
This is a good start, Zozo. Solid, but low-key. This won't attract any undue attention.
Thank you, I think. But it may not have been that low-key. All that building had attracted a dangerous dirt scorpion a long way away from home. As it attacked, this time I fought back until the Dirt Scorpion was defeated. This gave me the XP to level up, getting 30 hearts and a new power, Ice Blast. Now I can finally start living up to my Ice Witherstorm name. From day 6 to day 8, I left the Cyclops back at the base while I went out to explore a nearby frosty mountain range called the Alps. Wow, the air is very thin up here. I probably wouldn't make a habit of hanging out up here. But my thoughts were interrupted by an adorable orange and white kitty running up towards me.
Please, stranger, I need some help. There's something terrible happening back there.
Calm down, calm down. What's going on here, kitty?
A dread scuttler. It's horrible, and it was chasing after me. I was so scared.
Don't worry, kitty. You just hang back here, and I'll go take care of it.
Thank you, stranger. Thank you.
Please, call me Zozo. I braced myself and went off in the direction that the kitty came from. It didn't take me long to find the Dread Scuttler, and with the help of my Ice Blast and my stone sword, it didn't take long for me to beat it either. Afterwards, the kitty approached me, happy that I'd taken care of the nasty Dread Scuttler.
Zozo, that was amazing. You're the best.
Please, it was nothing.
Well, if it was so easy, maybe you'll help me take care of a Dreadlich not far from here. He's been causing a lot of trouble.
Sure, I'll always do my best. From day 9 to day 10, I followed Kitty's instructions and went further into the Alps. That's where I found the Dreadlich waiting.
So, you're the one who destroyed my Dread Scuttler. Do you have any idea how hard those are to summon? I'll make you pay for this, you wretched little Ice Witherstorm.
Talk is cheap, Dreadlich. Let's duke it out. But it didn't take me long to regret being so gung-ho. The Dreadlich was way tougher than I thought. He tanked my attacks and returned with some magical attacks of his own. My only option was to run away and survive to fight another day. I met with Kitty again and told her the bad news.
Don't beat yourself up, Zozo. You tried your best, and you did an amazing job getting rid of the Dread Scuttler.
And I'm gonna take care of the Dreadlich too, but I need to get stronger first. Why don't you come and stay at my base in the frozen lakes? It'll probably be safer there.
That's a very generous offer, Zozo, and I think I'll take you up on it.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base with Kitty and quickly set about building a new room in my base for her to stay. I made sure it was the kind of room that'd be really cozy for a cute little kitty. What do you think, Kitty?
I think you did an amazing job, Zozo. So amazing, in fact, that I made a few base upgrades of my own to repay you.
And Kitty certainly had made some awesome upgrades. She created a sheep farm full of, yep, you guessed it, sheep. She'd also created a furnace and a storage room. Are you implying I should go and forge myself some new weapons, Kitty?
Nothing gets past you, Zozo.
I searched until I found a decent cavern for mining, and searched until I found a healthy vein of iron ore. I dug up the ore and took it back to my base with me. There, I used the furnace Kitty built to smelt my ore into iron ingots. And with those and some sticks, I made myself an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. Now I'm stronger than ever before. That's what I'm talking about. From day 13 to day 15, I spoke to the Cyclops again, asking if he had any advice on how to get strong enough to defeat Ivan the Ice Dragon.
Well, what have you fought so far?
I've fought a lot of things.
Fought and beat, I mean.
A Dirt Scorpion and a Dread Scuttler.
You're gonna need to fight stronger things than big bugs if you want to really level up, Zozo. Go back to the Alps and find something worth defeating there. Only true challenge will help you grow your skills.
Great advice, Cyclops. Following his advice, I went back to the Alps. Even making my way up there was exhausting. This was going to be more challenging than I thought.
Hey, if it isn't the big, goofy, apple-eating baby. I knew I'd find you eventually, and now you're doomed.
It was the same Dread Thrall who'd hassled me earlier, but this time I wasn't going to talk to him. I was going to fight him, and I was going to win. With a combination of ice blasts and lethal strikes from my iron sword, the Dread Thrall was vanquished, and I picked up a healing potion he dropped. Once I'd swigged it down, I started to transform. I got bigger, stronger. I had 60 hearts and a new ability, shooting with a Wither Skull. Half ice, half Witherstorm. My power is really coming along. From day 16 to day 19, I went from the mountains of the Alps to the even higher frozen peaks. If getting challenged makes you tougher, I'm gonna be as tough as one of these mountains soon. During my journey, I happened upon a book laying on the ground. Its title read, Dread Thrall's Diary. Well, this seems like essential reading. There was a section that read, Ivan's been such a drag since that Ice Witherstorm turned up. He's so paranoid and stuck in his own head. He started staying in that base in the eroded Badlands. What kind of ice dragon hangs out in the Badlands? It's way too hot there. He's staying in the eroded Badlands? That's really useful information. I looked up and saw another Dread Thrall standing a few feet from me.
Hey, that's my diary, you jerk! Oh!
Before he said another word, I blasted the Dread Thrall with a powerful Wither Skull, and he was no more. From day 20 to day 22, while heading back from the frozen peaks, I wiped out a small but vicious gang of coyotes. It feels good to be so powerful. I think I've earned myself a treat. I returned to my favorite mining cavern and collected a few extra chunks of iron ore. Then, I returned to my base and used the furnace to smelt them into iron ingots. From that, I built myself an iron chestplate and equipped it. You probably can't see it in all my Witherstorm swirls, but it feels good to know it's there. With my new power and new armor, I felt the confidence to go back and settle an old score. I returned to the Alps, where I saw the Dreadlich waiting.
Ready for me to hand you your Ice Witherstorm hiney, eh, Zozo?
I'd like to see you try, Dreadlich. This time, it was a much more even fight. With my Wither Skulls and Ice Blast, this time I put him down for good. Kitty is gonna be so pleased when I tell her. Suddenly, a chill went down my already chilly Ice Witherstorm spine. I heard the great flapping of wings in the sky above and saw Ivan the Ice Dragon coming towards me.
Oh, there you are, you little plagiarist! You lazy copycat! I'm gonna be the only ice being out here!
As strong as I'd gotten, I still wasn't tough enough to take on Ivan yet. I did the only thing I could and ran. From day 23 to day 26, I made it safely back to my base and rushed to tell Kitty the good news. Hey Kitty, remember that Dreadlich you were having trouble with?
You mean the one you were having trouble with, Zozo?
Well, those troubles are over. I defeated him.
Perfect! Nicely done, Zozo!
I didn't want to rest on my victory for too long. After all, I had only just narrowly escaped from Ivan. I still needed to get much stronger if I was going to take him down for good. I decided to venture back to the mines and have another shot at gathering up some more iron ore. Luckily for me, there was plenty to be found in another vein underground, and I hacked away with my pickaxe. Once I had gathered up enough ore, I smelted it into some shiny new iron ingots. I had plenty to smith myself an iron helmet and sturdy pair of iron boots to match my chest piece. Now, I was fully protected.
Zozo, come have a look!
What's new, Kitty Cat? Whoa! Kitty had been working on an upgrade to my base as a way of saying thank you for helping her out. She'd built a brand new perimeter wall to keep danger at bay. Now I wasn't the only one with added protection. My base and my friends were too. From day 27 to day 31, I headed back to the frozen peaks. Now that a few of the Dread Thralls and that pesky Dreadlich were taken care of, it was a bit safer for me to explore the area. Although, I had my guard up when I spotted a mighty behemoth. But was he a friend or foe?
Relax, little Ice Witherstorm. Take a chill pill.
Sorry, I can't be too careful with Ivan and his Dread Horde around.
Oh, that buzzkill. Yeah, I can imagine he would have given an icicle like you a really icy reception.
Are you gonna keep making jokes like that all day?
Sorry, man. I'm just feeling pretty good since you took out all those Dread Thralls. It's made things around here way cooler. But you know there's still plenty of Ivan's minions around, right?
You're right, and it's not safe for you here, Behemoth. Head back to my base with me.
Sweet! You're a pretty chilled guy, Zozo.
I made my way back to the base with the Behemoth. Once we had returned, I was able to grab some wool from the flock of sheep in the pen and use that wool to make some nice decorative banners that really livened the place up. Once the decorating work was done, the Cyclops ran over in a panic.
Zozo, come quickly. I need your help. There is another challenge that might help build your strengths.
Then lead the way. From day 32 to day 35, my Cyclops friend and mentor took me towards the frozen lakes, where we came across a sight that even made my Ice Witherstorm self shiver. A swarm of Ivan the Ice Dragon's Dread Thralls were chasing after Dodo the Hippogriff.
Zozo, help! It's Ivan. He's found me. He's on to us.
I leapt into battle, swinging my iron sword to chop down some of the Dread Thralls. I let off an Ice Blast, then another attack, my Wither Skull Blast. I was desperately trying to clear a path to reach the Dodo Hippogriff, but there were just too many Dread Thralls in the way. No! The Dread Thralls destroyed the Dodo Hippogriff. I slashed my sword at them, taking down each and every one of them, until not a single Thrall was left standing. But I was still too late. From day 36 to day 39, I decided to wander off on my own for a little while. I needed to clear my head and be alone with my thoughts. I hadn't known the dodo hippogriff all that long, but I was still sad I couldn't save him. He'd had a lot of faith in me being able to take on Ivan, so I figured maybe my sadness was a reminder that I couldn't take his wisdom for granted. I had to make sure I lived up to the dodo hippogriff's expectations. On my travels, I encountered a cactoid in the Alps.
Oh, my. Will you please help me? I'm being pursued by a beastly creature.
Sure thing. Just point me at the nasty critter, and it's as good as gone. The cactoid led me to the creature that had been coming after him, a horrible hellhound. I grabbed my sword and readied for a fight. After all, the dodo hippogriff had told me the path to victory was getting stronger, and any battle was a chance to improve. I took down the hellhound with little effort and went back to the cactoid to tell him the good news.
Oh my, thank you, kind, chilly stranger. I've seen Ivan's minions on the move more and more lately. His ego must have been pricked something fierce.
Yeah, that dragon really is vain. He took out one of my friends just to get at me.
Well, he wants to be the only ice creature around. I imagine he feels threatened by you. Take it from a guy covered in spines. Some people only act tough on the outside to protect themselves on the inside.
From day 40 to day 43, I decided it was time to rejoin my friends back at the base. The Cyclops and I had parted briefly after we lost the dodo hippogriff, but I thought about what he'd said before. Only with our powers combined could we take down Ivan.
Hey there, Zozo. Glad to see you're back. Don't worry, I've been keeping an eye out while you were gone.
Thanks, Cyclops. Say, this place looks a little different.
Well, I wasn't gonna just sit around on my hands. Have a look around.
The Cyclops had worked really hard at making the base more homely, just the thing I needed to lift my spirits after losing the dodo hippogriff. He'd built plenty of new bookshelves and even a few comfy couches. You know, Cyclops, it's not like we can sit on more than one of these couches at a time.
About that, Zozo, I was wondering if I could invite some guests. There are more Cyclopses like me who have had it up to their eye with Ivan. Would you mind if they came to stay?
Not at all. The more, the merrier. After the other Cyclopses came in and found their places, the behemoth came over to talk to me.
Say, Zozo, when you've got a moment, I also have a favor to ask you.
From day 44 to day 49, I set off from my base to carry out a quest that my friend the behemoth had given me. He said that there was a silver lobo hiding somewhere in the frozen peaks, and that he had some useful info that would help me taking down Ivan, if I could take him down, that is. But while I was beginning my search, I heard the flap of 2 icy wings and had to leap out of the way as Ivan arrived, swooping in for an ambush.
There you are. I thought you would have given up after my dread thralls killed your poor friend, the dodo hippogriff. You know, he'd still be alive if you had just turned yourself over and let me destroy you, little Witherstorm.
What's your problem, Ivan? You're really going out of your way to try and stop me from getting stronger. Seems like you might be a little insecure.
You're a pest. Nothing more than a chilly breeze. I'm an ice dragon. I should be the master of the freezing cold. I'll unleash a whole new ice age on this world. An endless deep freeze. But as long as you're around, you're in my way. So let's see if we can't fix that little problem.
Suddenly, a monstrous reaver burst out of nowhere and came charging towards me. Ivan had already flapped away, leaving his minion to take me on. This creature might be my toughest fight yet. From day 50 to day 53, I got to fighting the reaver. This thing was one of the most powerful mobs I'd ever seen. It was all brute strength and rage. I deflected its blows with my iron sword, the occasional hit knocking into my armor and causing me a little damage. I'd need to keep my cool if I was going to defeat this monster. Wait, that's it! I blasted the reaver with my ice blast. While the icy attack didn't freeze it completely, it did slow down the beast's attacks. I could dodge out of the way of its fist a lot easier now and got around behind it to deliver the final strike with my sword. The reaver fell. I had not only survived, but I'd beaten the creature too. But my trusty iron sword was looking a little worse for wear now. Although, much to my surprise, the reaver dropped something that could come in real handy later on, some mystical diamonds. I'll stash these in my inventory for now, but they could make me a great replacement for my sword. As soon as I touched them, I was granted a magical vision by the mystical diamonds. They showed me a little dragon, just newly hatched. It was Ivan, as a baby. He was scared and all alone, left abandoned on the top of a frozen peak. So that's why he was such a bully. He'd felt so helpless, and now he wanted to be the strongest around to avoid that feeling, even if it meant being mean to others. From day 54 to day 57, I continued my search through the frozen peaks until I finally came upon the creature I'd been searching for, the Silver Lobo. This thing was nasty. I didn't even have a chance to negotiate or come up with a peaceful solution. It just lunged straight for me. Lucky for me, I had already tangled with a Reaver and survived, not to mention all the Dread Thralls I'd taken down. So with a few blasts of Wither Skulls, the battle was over as quick as it began. And then I saw the thing that was so handy that the behemoth had sent me here in the first place. The Silver Lobo dropped a map. It had been tasked with guarding a location that obviously Ivan didn't want me getting to, so I grabbed the map and made the trek back to my base. I needed to speak with the behemoth.
Hey there, Zozo. It sure is cool to see you back in one piece.
Say, behemoth, why send me after this map?
Well, I figured you should go to where it leads and find out for yourself.
Will I find out why Ivan wants to stop me from getting stronger?
Oh, I can tell you that. He doesn't like being the weak one, and you intimidate him. An ice dragon like him can harness the frost and the freeze, but you're cooler than cool. You're ice cold. Ice withers are made of pure frozen magic. He only wants to hold you back because he knows you could outmatch him.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided to do some more work on my base now that I was back for a while. I upgraded our sheep pen, making it more spacious for the flock so they could roam around a bit easier. Then I took a look at the map I had gotten from the Silver Lobo and started to follow it to see what all the fuss was about. It only led to a mine filled with diamonds. No wonder Ivan didn't want me finding out about this place. I got to work mining as many diamonds as I could carry and raced back to my base so I could turn them into useful items. Before long, I had a brand new diamond sword to replace my worn out old iron one, along with a new diamond pickaxe to make mining a breeze. Then, just as I was finished, my Cyclops friend came up to talk to me.
Zozo, I noticed some of my fellow Cyclopses were a little bit chilly, so I made a brand new fireplace with them. Hope that's okay.
Sure, even though the cold never bothered me anyway, I'm glad you guys can keep warm. The Cyclops and his new pals had even built a whole new comfy living area for everyone to show their appreciation for being allowed to stay in the base. I had to admit, I was pretty impressed with what they'd done with the place. From day 63 to day 66, I decided to ask around my base for some advice. I knew I still wasn't tough enough to go head-to-head with Ivan yet, but I had to do something to get back at him. And besides, the Dodo Hippogriff had made me realize that teamwork was the best way to putting a stop to Ivan's plans. Eventually, the best advice came from Kitty.
You know from that Dread Thrall's diary that Ivan has a base in the eroded Badlands, right? Well, why not go and scout the place out? You don't have to go in or try and face him. Just take a look from the outside to see what it looks like and how to get there.
Good idea! A recon mission! Thanks, Kitty!
No problem, Zozo.
I made my way to the eroded Badlands, making sure I kept to the shade as often as I could, since the Badlands were so much hotter than the frozen lakes. Even though Ice Witherstorms like me were pure enchanted ice, I didn't want to run the risk of melting. I was able to get a good look at Ivan's base. It was well guarded by plenty of his minions. The place was crawling with Dread Thralls. Getting inside was going to be tricky, unless I got a lot stronger. Suddenly, I caught the sound of someone sneaking up on me. It was a siren. Oh no, I thought. One of Ivan's perimeter guards had found me. But to my surprise, she wasn't with Ivan at all.
You're an Ice Witherstorm. Then the rumors were true. Come with me. There is something I need your assistance with.
From day 67 to day 70, I followed the siren as she explained what the problem was.
One of Ivan's dread beasts drove me out of my home not far from here. It's an incredibly territorial creature, and I can't convince it to leave. I need someone to, well, not to be indelicate, but someone that can remove it.
No problem, Miss Siren. I'll handle it. Sure enough, there in a clearing sat the vicious Dread Beast. It immediately sensed the presence of an Ice Witherstorm in its territory, and I got ready for a fight. After all, I'd been looking for a chance to test out my new diamond sword. The snarling Dread Beast was quick, but only a little bit harder to defeat than one of the Dread Thralls. I swung my sword at the monster, and it fell, bested in combat, and now the Siren's home was free from the nasty intruder.
Oh, thank you, Zozo. I wish I could offer you more than just my gratitude, but know that should you ever need a helping hand, I will come to your aid.
Wow, thanks, Miss Siren. From day 71 to day 74, I ventured out across the eroded Badlands, trying to get a better feel for the area and see if I could come across any hidden passageways or other areas that could offer me some secret way into Ivan's lair. I just needed to find something to give myself an advantage, and if I could get a drop on that egotistical ice dragon, maybe that would help me defeat him. I didn't find much in the way of secret tunnels, although I did pass a strange rock formation. When I looked at it from a certain angle, it almost seemed to spell out a word. If you're enjoying this video and want to see more, then find our other ones by searching Zozo or clicking the channel icon below. Suddenly, I heard a familiar flapping of some fearsome wings. Ivan! I must have wandered close enough to his base for one of his dread thralls to spot me.
You never should have come here, Zozo. I'll teach you to trespass.
Ivan fired his icy attacks at me. Under the sun of the Badlands, he was weakened. Either that, or because I was stronger now, I could take more of what he could dish out. Feeling confident, I swiped my diamond sword at him as he swooped down low, but it wasn't enough to cause any lasting damage. I still wasn't strong enough, so I dodged out of the path of Ivan's next ice blast and took cover until he flew off, frustrated he couldn't find me. He wasn't the only one feeling frustrated though. From day 75 to day 78, I headed back to base and went to sit quietly in my room. I was annoyed that I still couldn't beat Ivan in a fight. I knew all about him now, how he had become the meanest, toughest around, so nobody else could harm him, but he still needed taking down. And if I couldn't even manage to do that, then no one else had any hope of stopping him. I wasn't strong enough, and that made me feel like I'd let down the poor dodo hippogriff.
Hey, Zozo, don't feel so disheartened. Come and check out the base. We've made some improvements that are pretty... they're good.
It's okay, Behemoth. You can make a nice joke.
They're pretty cool. That's what they are. Here, I'll show you.
The Behemoth showed me around the base, eager for me to see the new battlements he and the others had been working hard to install. There was now a brand new watchtower, offering a great vantage point to spot Ivan or any of his minions coming if they ever tried to attack our base. I had to admit, even in my low mood, it helped to lift my spirits a little, but not as much as what came next.
Zozo, my Cyclops brethren and I have been talking, and I've been thinking about what the Dodo Hippogriff said to you about combining our powers. This battle axe is a sacred item to us, and, well, we think you should have it.
I was honored. I took hold of the Cyclops battle axe and hoisted it high. I could feel its magic coursing through me as I suddenly grew larger. It granted me 100 hearts and even passed on some ancient wisdom to me, how to perform a special attack called a whirlwind attack. From day 79 to day 84, I was feeling pumped for a rematch with Ivan the Ice Dragon, so I made my way back toward the Badlands to take him on with my increased strength and the Cyclops power at my side. Much to my disappointment, Ivan was nowhere to be seen, probably hiding back in the safety of his base. I did come across a fire ogre though. This was one mob I really didn't want to let get the better of me. His burning blasts of flame could have melted me. But luckily, a huge gust of wind from my whirlwind attack and some ice blasts for good measure quickly snuffed out the fire ogre for good. But before I could celebrate, I got quite the fright when a ghost appeared behind me. Hey, don't sneak up on me like that.
My apologies. I've been wandering these Badlands for longer than I could remember, just looking for where I fell in my last life.
Well, I'm sure I could help you look. The ghost and I searched around for a while, and he seemed to be pretty grateful just to have someone to talk to after being on his own for so long. After a little digging, we came across a shiny diamond helmet.
You found my helmet. This must have been where my body was. Thank you, Zozo. Now I can rest. Here, take my helmet. I'd rather it went to someone worthy like you.
This was perfect. Some added protection from attacks would give me an edge against Ivan. From day 85 to day 89, I headed back to my base, only to find a terrifying sight waiting for me, dread thralls! They were attacking my base. I jumped into action and drew my sword. I let out a blast of my whirlwind attack, sending dread thralls toppling over and flinging them into the air. I cut down 2 with my diamond sword, then froze another with an ice blast. A heavy strike with my sword, and he was gone.
Ah, jeez. They promised that Ice Witherstorm was just a big, goofy, apple-eating baby. That's no baby. Let's get the heck out of here.
With that, the remaining dread thralls ran off, and I rushed after them. I had to make sure they didn't make it back to Ivan. If they led him to where my base was located, he could destroy all of my friends. I wasn't about to let that happen. I chased the dread thralls across the frozen lakes until they were pretty far from my base. I almost lost track of them, but thankfully, I passed a pink pixie who pointed me in their direction.
Hurry, Zozo! Those horrid brutes are tearing through the lakes, causing chaos! Please, give them what for!
From day 90 to day 94, I caught up with the dread thralls. They'd ran all the way back to the eroded Badlands. If I didn't act quickly, they'd reveal the location of my friends to Ivan, then he'd attack. They were approaching Ivan's base when suddenly the thralls stopped. A hideous creature came out to meet them. It was a Gorgon.
What news for Master Ivan?
We found where the big goofy apple-eating baby was hiding, but he wasn't no goofy apple-eating baby. He's a powerful Ice Witherstorm.
Silence! Lower your voice. Don't let our master hear. I will break the news to him. First, tell me where I can find this troublesome Ice Witherstorm.
After the dread thralls left, I ran in to take on the Gorgon alone. I'm right here. The Gorgon gave an angry hiss as I jumped out from my hiding spot and cut down one of the thralls. I took them out much easier than when I'd first started out, but getting rid of them was only the beginning. The Gorgon attacked. I had to use all the attacks I had learned to fend him off. This was by far my toughest fight yet. From day 95 to day 97, I continued trading blows with the Gorgon. I thought of the Dodo Hippogriff and his wise guidance, and of the Behemoth, Kitty, and the Cyclopses, and all they had done for me. I couldn't let them down.
An icicle like you can't best me. Out here in the Badlands is where a serpent like me can thrive.
Yeah? Well, if you're anything like your boss, then you're just talking a big game to hide how uncertain you are. And I never met a snake I could trust. A snake, that was it! A cold-blooded reptile. That's why the Gorgon lived out here where it was warm. If I used my frosty powers, I could make him drowsy, slow him down. So that's what I did, firing off as many ice blasts as I could, despite the scorching sunlight. It was working. The Gorgon's attacks got slower, easier to dodge, and I could slash the frozen parts of his body to chip away at his health. Soon, he had been defeated. I'd done it. I'd taken down Ivan's top henchman. The Gorgon even dropped a key that would get me into Ivan's base.
Wait, don't you want to know what happened to the others?
Others? The other Ice Witherstorms?
Yes, how my master destroyed them all.
With his dying breath, the Gorgon told me that Ivan, after being abandoned on a frosty peak, devoted himself to being the coldest creature around. He had hunted down other ice withers to absorb their freezing powers and make himself stronger. That was why he had been trying to get to me this whole time. I had to stop him, but I'd need to gear up before the final fight. On day 98, I made my way back to my base, hoping to prepare myself for my final showdown against Ivan. It had all been building to this, and I hoped I was ready. First, I spoke to Behemoth.
Don't worry, Zozo. I'm sure you've got what it takes to take down Ivan. You're the coolest customer I know.
Thanks for that, Behemoth. Then, Kitty.
Zozo, take care! Remember to lick your wounds, and don't fight if you've got a hairball. Trust me on that one.
I'll take your word for it, Kitty. And finally, the Cyclops.
Listen, Zozo, I can't thank you enough for giving me and my Cyclops friends a home. I think the Dodo Hippogriff would be proud of how far you've come. We combined our powers, and it made you the powerful Ice Witherstorm you are.
I just hope that I'm ready to take on Ivan.
None of us are ever ready for challenges, Zozo. We just have to tell ourselves we are, and remember what challenges are for.
There to make us stronger. On day 99, I made my way back toward the lair of Ivan the Ice Dragon, passing the Alps on my journey towards the eroded Badlands. When I finally reached my destination, it seemed Ivan hadn't taken the fall of his Gorgon too well. The place was crawling with dread thralls. I knew I could handle a group of them, but this was way more than I had ever seen. What I could really do with is getting help getting past these dread thralls.
But of course, you only had to ask Zozo.
Miss Siren!
My siren song can distract these thralls for a time. That should help you deal with them. You go in there and take on Ivan once and for all.
On day 100, I made my way into the heart of Ivan's lair and came face to face with the frozen dragon himself.
So, you've come to get melted, like all the other Ice Witherstorms.
No way, Ivan. I'm here to stop you. I understand why you feel the need to be so tough, but it doesn't excuse hurting people.
I am tough. Why do you think that me, an ice dragon, would make my home here in the eroded Badlands? Because I'm strong enough, cold enough to withstand the heat.
Let's see about that. We clashed. The fight was on. Ivan was much bigger than me and could fly, so he already had a few advantages I didn't. But I had plenty of my own. I was smaller, faster, and far stronger than when we had last fought. Like before, I kept trying to take some swings of my diamond sword whenever Ivan swooped down low and came in for an attack. This was working for a bit, but Ivan quickly realized what I was doing and began to stay, hovering in the air to evade my sword strikes. Flapping his wings to stay above me, he launched icy blasts my way, and I had to dodge as quick as I could. But that gave me an idea. Two can play that game, Ivan. I've got the power of ice, and the Cyclops is on my side. Moving quickly, I used my ice blasts. Then I stayed out of reach and fired some wither skulls his way. It worked. One more swipe of my diamond sword would finish it. Hey, Ivan, you really need to chill out. Boom! Ivan the Ice Dragon was defeated. On day 1, I spawned in as an ice spider, an arachnid as cold as the Arctic reaches. All 8 of my legs are here, but why am I so little? I'm only a baby spider. That's when I realized that I was trapped inside of a magic circle. An evil-looking necromancer stood on the outside, casting a terrible spell.
A spider of ice, it will suffice. So says me, Necromancer Bryce.
Light swirled all around me, and the entire world shook. But when it stopped, I felt like I was able to move. Great! I better get out of here while I can. I tried to scurry away, but Bryce the Necromancer blocked my path.
Not so fast there, Ice Spider. Your part to play is done, so now I'll destroy you and complete the spell.
Hey, I have a name, you know. It's Zozo, and I don't like it when people say they're going to destroy me.
Oh, it's nothing personal. That magic spell I just cast is going to destroy the entire world 100 days from now.
What? The entire world? You do realize that doesn't make it better, right?
But it does make it destroyed. The ritual also says that I should sacrifice the ice spider used in the spell for best results.
Well, it's not going to be this ice spider. I'm leaving, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna find a way to counteract your spell. I bolted for it as fast as my 8 legs could carry. Instead of chasing after me, the necromancer Bryce just laughed wickedly to himself.
Easier said than done, my arachnid friend. The world's destruction is close at hand.
On day 2, I managed to get far enough away from the necromancer Bryce that I could take it easy. I looked around in wonder at the glowing ancient forest around me. I also noticed that I had 10 hearts and that my hunger gauge was lowering fast. It looks like running for my life from a destruction-happy evil necromancer really works up an appetite. I searched around until I found a tree that had apples in it for me to take. Then I ate the apples until my hunger meter was full again. Surviving all alone in this world as a baby spider isn't so bad. I'm really getting the hang of it. I wasn't alone for long though, as I saw a couple of skeleton vanguards appear out from between the trees.
There you are, Ice Spider. We shall get rid of you for our master, the Necromancer Bryce.
He must really want to sacrifice me if he's sending skeletons to do his bidding. I tried to fend off the skeleton vanguards, but my spider bites didn't have much of an effect on creatures made of bone.
Give up, Spider. The world is doomed, and your sacrifice will seal its fate.
The mobs kept attacking, bringing me down to my last few hearts. I thought I was doomed. But then, an energy blast distracted the skeleton vanguards and made them run away. Out of nowhere, an illusioner appeared. I realized immediately that they must have been the one who cast the spell.
Follow me, little ice spider. I'll take you to my camp. We'll be safer there.
You saved my life, so I guess I can trust you. On day 3, the illusioner took me to his campsite and cast a protective illusion barrier around both of us so that the mobs wouldn't find us. You're pretty good at casting spells, illusioner.
Please, call me Alan. Illusioner Alan.
Okay, Alan, you're pretty good at casting spells.
Thank you for saying that, but unfortunately, there are mages far more powerful than me in the world, and some of them are using their gifts for evil.
You mean like Necromancer Bryce? Is it true that his spell will end the world?
Not if we good mages have anything to say about it.
Soon after, another mage arrived at the campfire. This one was a wind caller with the power to, well, call wind.
I'm Wind Caller Windy. I'm here to see the ice spider.
That's me. I'm Ice Spider Zozo.
Oh, the winds are truly blowing in our favor. You, my amicable arachnid, may be the key to saving the entire world from destruction. Necromancer Bryce's ritual can be stopped by a more powerful spell as long as he doesn't sacrifice an ice spider.
So as long as I'm alive, there's a chance that you mages will be able to stop him.
We'll need your help too. can battle his henchmen and travel to places which would be too dangerous for us.
You can count on me. I might still be a baby spider, but I won't let the entire world down. From day 4 to day 5, I began to make use of the trees around me to gather wood for a wooden pickaxe. Because my starting area was a forest, it didn't take long to have enough to craft the tool. But wood wouldn't be good for long if I could do better. I mined into the ground with my wooden pickaxe for some stone and quickly upgraded to a stone pickaxe. With the new and improved stone tool, I was able to gather even more stone to use for building and crafting. First, I made a stone sword to defend myself with. Next, I started building a strong shelter where I could stay safe from Necromancer Bryce and his undead minions. Illusioner Alan had chosen to come with me. His illusion spells would help keep me safe while I built the base. Thanks for all your help so far, Alan.
Remember, Zozo, do not rely on magic. It cannot keep every mob away.
I soon understood what he meant when a skeleton appeared and interrupted my building. Good thing I crafted that stone sword. I drew my weapon and brought down the skeleton with a cup of wax. My victory against the skeleton made me stronger and more experienced, and because of that, I grew out of my baby mode into a regular-sized ice spider with 30 hearts. I can shoot ice blasts now. That is more like it. From day 6 to day 8, I was out exploring in the nearby gravelly mountains when I saw a friendly gorilla being attacked by a slime ball.
Get away from me, you slime ball!
The slime ball didn't answer. It just bounced and got slime everywhere. You may be slimy, but this ice spider isn't so helpless anymore. I hit the slime ball with my stone sword over and over. It did a good amount of damage, but I was taking damage the longer I stayed in contact with the slime ball. I retreated back to a safe distance and shot the slime ball with an ice blast. It froze the mob solid, so I was able to get in a few more hits with my stone sword while it was immobilized. I repeated this 2 or 3 times with more ice blasts until the slime ball was defeated. Once the battle was over, the gorilla cheered and ran up to greet me.
Brr, I was cold just watching that, but I'm glad you're on my side.
Of course, I, Ice Spider Zozo, am all about saving others.
You're definitely the nicest ice mob I've met. Say, do you think you could talk to the other one I know and tell him to stop trying to freeze me?
Sure thing, I'll let him know that's not nice.
He's just over here in another part of the mountains.
From day 9 to day 10, the gorilla showed me to the lair of the Icy Creeper, a powerful ice mob that seemed to like to cause trouble. Gorilla seemed worried for me. That's how I knew Icy Creeper would be trouble.
Are you sure you could talk him out of being mean, Zozo?
I can certainly try. I left Gorilla behind and approached the Icy Creeper. His attention was on me immediately, but he didn't speak. It looked like I would need to talk first. Hey, I'm Ice Spider Zozo. I heard you've been trying to freeze the gorilla and they'd like you to stop.
Well, that's very nice, but I'm not gonna. I'll freeze anyone I want.
That's so rude. What did the gorilla ever do to you?
Nothing, but this is a cold world, and I'm one cold, tough customer. If that gorilla doesn't like it, he can go to another mountain.
Don't make me fight you, Icy Creeper.
I'd like to see you try.
I fired my ice blast at the Icy Creeper, but it seemed like he was even colder than me because it barely did any damage. His own ice blast took off a bunch of my hearts. In a battle between ice creatures, I was definitely the loser for now. I ran back to the gorilla, sad that I couldn't defeat the Icy Creeper. I promised Gorilla that I'd let him stay in my base for now and come back to the gravelly mountains to defeat Icy Creeper at a later time. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base and began renovating the living space so that the gorilla had a place to live. I used a lot of stone bricks so it wouldn't be too different from the mountain he had left behind. Once I had built the room, I went to see the gorilla and showed him where he could stay.
Thanks for letting me stay here, Zozo. I thought you could use some more storage space, so I did a bit of building on my own.
It turned out that the gorilla really had built a room that was perfect for storing extra items. He also built a furnace that would heat up the room where he and the mages would be staying. Oh yeah, I guess you guys need to stay warm. Either way, that's very impressive work.
I call it the home away from home. Oh, I hope I get to see the mountains again before the world ends.
It's not going to end. I'll stop it.
I hope so. That necromancer Bryce has been plotting world destruction for a long time, actually. He's tried all sorts of spells to do it, and they've never worked. This one might, though, and the idea of that is really scary.
It did sound scary, and I wasted no time getting better materials to help defend myself in case Bryce showed up. Down in the mining area of the base, I went digging for some iron to upgrade my tools. I found some iron ore, which I smelted into iron ingots, then crafted into an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. Back on the surface, I tamed some sheep from the nearby glowing ancient forest and built a farm for them. If that furnace fails, there's always wool sweaters. From day 13 to day 15, I sought out Illusioner Alan for some more advice on how to complete Necromancer Bryce's challenge. I want to save the world as soon as I can, Alan. Is the spell ready yet?
If only magic were that simple, Zozo. The truth is that Bryce's destruction spell is linked to you now. The only way to weaken it is for you to become stronger.
How do I do that?
When you defeated Bryce's skeleton henchman before, some of the spell's magic transferred into you. If you could defeat a more powerful one, it could happen again.
I went back to the Gravelly Mountains in the hopes of finding another undead mob to fight. Come and get me! I don't fear you, skeletons! As if answering my call to battle, a skeleton vanguard came charging across the mountain terrain towards me.
Spider of Ice! Spider of Ice! The time has come for sacrifice!
I hit the advancing skeleton vanguard with an ice blast, which slowed the undead down. I was able to hit him with another before he got into melee range. Time to get a taste of my new weapon. At that point, I brought out my iron sword and slashed the skeleton vanguard with some powerful hits. The skeleton vanguard crumbled and dropped a health potion to boot. This potion must contain some more of Bryce's magic. I drank the potion and felt my power increase dramatically. My number of hearts doubled and became 60, and I gained the magical ability to turn invisible like see-through ice. From day 16 to day 19, I continued my exploration into a brand new part of the world that I'd never seen before, the Great Lake Isles. As I crawled around this breathtaking new biome, I came across an abandoned book that contained information about the destruction spell that Necromancer Bryce had cast. A spell of destruction cast by a Necromancer must be confirmed with the sacrifice of an ice spider. For this reason, an ice spider that survives the casting of the spell can prevent the destruction of the world by being at the center of a spell of life, which is made to protect the world. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, but it sounded like there was a way to turn the tide of destruction. I excitedly began to leave the Great Lake Isles when some more skeleton vanguards ambushed me to try and get me to be sacrificed.
Spider of Ice! Spider of Ice! The time has come for
Yeah, sacrifice. You creeps must have followed me from the mountains. I used my iron sword and I pelted the mobs with ice blasts until they were all destroyed. From day 20 to day 22, I realized that my powers were far stronger now that I had grown into a bigger ice spider. I tested my mettle against some specters in the glowing ancient forest, chopping them down with my iron sword. They weren't that difficult to defeat, but the fact that they were here meant that bad omens were on the horizon. Dead becoming more common could be a sign of world destruction being on its way. I did some more mining for iron in the base cavern and grabbed enough ore to make the ingots for an iron chestplate. Now that I'm this much stronger, I bet I could stand up to the Icy Creeper. I returned to the Icy Creeper's lair in the Gravelly Mountains to confront the mob with my new abilities and gear.
Have you learned how cold the world is yet, Zozo?
No, I have learned that the world has good people in it that don't deserve to be frozen or destroyed. I fired my icy blast at the Icy Creeper, and this time, I was the one dealing damage. I had become a colder, more powerful being. Never freeze the gorilla or anyone else ever again.
All right, Zozo, I give. I'll be nice.
The Icy Creeper ran away, never to be mean again and never to be seen again. Upon driving away from that other ice mob, I saw a flashback to Bryce as a younger necromancer, just learning his first spells.
The world is a cold and cruel place. I know. I'll destroy it so nobody has to live in a cold, cruel world.
Guess he was similar to the Icy Creeper in a couple of ways. If only he knew that the world wasn't as cold and cruel as he thought it was. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base, feeling victorious. I made a beeline for the gorilla to give him the good news. I taught that Icy Creeper a lesson he won't forget anytime soon. I promise you that you won't be having any trouble with him now.
Wow, you are one heroic ice spider, Zozo. I'm really checking my prejudices right now. Also, I made you a gift. In case you didn't notice it on the way in, I made a perimeter wall to defend the base.
Somehow, I totally had missed the perimeter wall. It was awesome and would do a great job at repelling the roving hordes of the undead. The base is well defended. Maybe now it's time to make sure my body is better defended. I went back to the mining cavern and collected up some more iron ore that I then took back to my base and smelted into iron ingots. I used these to make the rest of my armor set. You may not be able to see the armor on me, but believe me, it's there. From day 27 to day 31, I returned to the Great Lake Isles, wanting to make sure that I'd wiped out the Skeleton Vanguard Scourge completely. The more territory I can take back from the Necromancer Bryce, the less power and resources he has to complete his dark ritual. And it seems like my earlier work had paid off, because I couldn't see a Skeleton Vanguard anywhere. Instead, what I found was a large and smart-looking golem.
Hello there, good sir.
Say, I've heard quite a bit about a certain ice spider lately. Your name wouldn't happen to be Zozo, would it?
That depends. What would you do if I was Zozo?
I'd congratulate you. I'm the librarian Golem. I travel across the overworld, giving books to those who need them. And the skeleton vanguards working for that blasted necromancer had gotten in the way of my very important mission for far too long. If you are Zozo, then you are responsible for many needy people getting the books they so crave.
Well, in that case, I am Zozo. Why don't you come back to my base with me? You seem like you'd be a valuable ally.
Of course, as long as there's a place where I can read.
I returned to my base with the librarian Golem and constructed a new room for him to sleep in. After completing it, I realized how dull and drab the base looked. It needed a personal touch. I harvested some wool from my sheep farm and turned them into a bunch of cool banners that I hung up around the different buildings of my base. Looking snazzy! But my joy was short-lived as Illusioner Alan ran in with frantic news.
Zozo, you need to come with me immediately. Windcaller Wendy is under attack.
From day 32 to day 35, Illusioner Alan and I ran as fast as we could to reach the campfire in the glowing ancient forest where the Windcaller liked to hang out. But by the time we arrived, it was already too late. A vicious gang of skeleton vanguards had already outnumbered and destroyed him. No!
We serve our master well. Everyone who attempts to defend you will be destroyed, Zozo. Nobody will stand in the way of your sacrifice. We will destroy this entire world.
Not if I have anything to say about it! Powered by pure rage, I went in there with all my weapons and powers and wiped out every single one of the skeleton vanguards. In the end, all that was left was myself and Illusioner Alan.
This is bad, Zozo. The Windcaller was a powerful mage and an asset to our operation. Now that she is gone, the danger grows significantly.
But we can't give up, Alan. If we give up, then nobody will stop Necromancer Bryce. We need to fight back against him with everything we have. From day 36 to day 39, I went out to the Gravelly Mountains to wander around and collect my thoughts. I was afraid about everything that had happened, but I couldn't show it in front of everyone who was working for me. Necromancer Bryce and his men are way more dangerous than I thought. My thoughts were interrupted when I ran into an incredibly strange creature, a melon golem, which I didn't even know was a thing.
What? You never see a melon golem before? You don't like melons or something?
No, I love melons. I've just never seen a melon golem before. I'm sorry if I've upset you. If you have a favor you need doing, I'd be happy to see to it and give you a hand.
Well, now that you mention it, there was an obsidian golem who was giving me some real trouble. Would you mind taking care of him before he hurts me or anyone else?
Of course, I'll get right to it. I turned on my invisibility powers and used it to search through the Gravelly Mountains until I discovered the obsidian golem. I used the element of surprise and approached him from behind, attacking him with everything I had. In the end, I managed to defeat him after a tough battle. Then I returned to the melon golem and told him that his bully was gone.
Hey, that's great news! I used to be able to trust the other golems, but a lot of them defected to the Necromancer Bryce, cause most of them are hardy enough to survive the cold.
So some golems are working with the Necromancer now? That's not good news.
You point out the obvious a lot, you know.
From day 40 to day 43, I returned back to my base, pleasantly surprised by some improvements that Illusioner Alan had made to the base.
Zozo, I've made very good friends with the librarian Golem. He's a wonderful chap, and we've been doing lots of discussions around the arcane arts. So I installed a sizable collection of bookshelves and couches so he can really enjoy himself here.
It's incredibly wholesome that you two have become such good friends.
And he's not the only friend I'd like to stay here. I improved the base by adding a barracks, so I could invite more of my Illusioner friends. The more mages we have at the base, the easier it will be to defend you from the Necromancer.
That sounds like a good idea to me, Alan. Not long after, a small group of other Illusioners arrived, and I greeted them, then escorted them to their rooms. Not long after, the librarian Golem approached me with a new quest.
Zozo! As you may have heard on the grapevine, or perhaps the melon vine, some golems defected from the overworld and joined up with that dastardly necromancer. Two in particular are the Endstone Golem and the Netherite Golem out in the Great Lake Isles. Perhaps, if you're able to defeat him, it will weaken the necromancer's power in another territory.
That's an awesome idea, Librarian Golem. I'll set off immediately. From day 44 to day 49, I set off into the Great Lake Isles to find one of the evil golems that had been working for Necromancer Bryce. I want to reduce the power of the Necromancer's spell in whatever way that I can. I thought I saw the glow of magic from one of the islands and made a stealthy approach. To my surprise, it wasn't an endstone golem at all, but Necromancer Bryce himself. He was muttering something, so I got closer to hear what it was.
This pathetic world does not deserve mercy. It only deserves cold destruction, and my spell will be that destruction. Soon, the hastening will be upon us.
Couldn't let him stand there and say such terrible things. Take that back, you dastardly necromancer!
Oh, it's you. You're the ice spider that dares to defy me. It seems my undead have thus far been unable to sacrifice you.
Why do you need to sacrifice me so badly anyway? What's in it for you if the entire world is destroyed?
Destroying the entire world is a thankless job, but somebody has to do it. Anyway, I've got a brand new caliber of minion now. Prepare to meet my netherite golem.
The Necromancer Bryce vanished into a cloud of magical smoke, and in his place, a netherite golem rose to its full towering height.
Greetings. I am the netherite golem, and I will be sacrificing today.
The other golems told me that baddies like you were bad news. Put up your big netherite dukes, and let's have a good clean fight, said the spider to the golem. I ice blasted my opponent and scurried around, avoiding his attacks. I used my invisibility to sneak in close and attack with my iron sword. The netherite golem was very strong, and he managed to hit me a couple times, dealing many hearts of damage. But I had hearts to spare now, and this fight was far from over. From day 50 to day 53, we briefly stopped to talk.
You're going to be sacrificed, Ice Spider. I'm going to crack you like ice, and then squash you like a spider.
Oh yeah? Well, you're a netherite golem, and never mind, I can't think of anything. I fired off a couple of ice blasts, then I used my iron sword to hit the netherite golem. With one more ice blast, I froze the netherite golem and brought the fight to a close with a sword strike. The netherite golem dispersed, leaving behind some mystical diamonds, which were stronger than any material I had gathered thus far. I better hang on to these so I can make a powerful tool out of these diamonds later. With the netherite golem defeated, I felt some of Necromancer Bryce's magic leaving the Great Lake Isles. From day 54 to day 57, I found the other evil golem that had chosen to serve Necromancer Bryce, the Endstone Golem, the exact golem that the library golem had sent me out to fight. This mean Endstone fighting machine was just as tough as the netherite golem I had fought before, so I knew I had to use similar strategies to take it down. Ice Spider Zozo, Golem Slayer! My invisibility proved to be a great way of avoiding attacks, and a mixture of Ice Blast and Iron Sword attacks sealed the deal! Both of the Golem defectors have been defeated now. I can feel the Great Lake Isles are peaceful now. I returned to my base in the glowing ancient forest so that I could tell the tale of my victory to the library golem.
Well done, Ice Spider Zozo. Without his golems, Necromancer Bryce has lost a major facet of his evil forces. The destruction of the entire world is that much closer to being avoided.
I'm just doing my part to stop the spell.
In anticipation of your return, I did some research into the original spellbooks that contain the destruction spell. It says that the ice spider needed for the spell must come from the Ice Spikes biome. Have you ever been there before, Zozo?
Not that I can recall, but if it's my homeland, maybe I can learn something more about the spell by going there someday. From day 58 to day 62, I used the mystical diamonds that had been dropped by the netherite golem to make myself a diamond sword. Once crafted, the librarian gave me a Frostwalker enchantment book to enchant my new diamond sword with frost. What a neat enchantment, and very fitting for an ice spider. I guess magic comes naturally to me. Because of my new sword, I was inspired to seek out more diamonds down in the mine. Using my iron pickaxe, I dredged up a few more diamonds and made myself a diamond pickaxe. I decided that was enough mining for now, and I came back to see that the living area looked much nicer, and there was even a brand new fireplace. Illusioner Alan was standing by the fireplace, feeling its warmth. It looks amazing here. Is this an illusion?
I'm always telling you, Zozo, magic can't do everything. These changes to the base are 100% real.
Wow, thanks, Alan.
Building this base was such a great idea. I really like living here, so I'm glad I could make it better for everyone.
From day 63 to day 66, I was doing some more diamond mining when the gorilla who lives in my base came to visit me.
Hey, Zozo, the librarian golem told me that you're originally from the Ice Spikes. I actually know how to get there.
You do? Well, that's great. I've been meaning to take a trip out there at some point.
I'll give you the directions. Maybe you'll find out if you've got any family out there.
Following the gorilla's directions, I made my way to the ice spikes. I didn't see any ice spiders, but maybe I would meet a friendly face if I looked around. But the first face I saw didn't appear to be that friendly. It was a mountaineer with a wicked gleam in his eyes. I'm warning you, buddy. You don't want to mess with this ice spider. I have the home field advantage.
I don't want to fight you. This gleam in my eye is the gleam of adventure. I'm Mountaineer Monty, and I'm looking to climb the tallest peak in the ice spikes.
The tallest peak? I bet I could see everything from up there. Count me in.
Perfect! With an ice spider helping me up, I'll be able to get to the top of the tallest peak in no time.
From day 67 to day 70, I joined Mountaineer Monty, and we both climbed around on the ice spikes together, searching for the tallest peak. How will we know if the ice spike that we're climbing is the tallest or not, Monty?
We won't know until we get to the top. Keep on crawling on these walls, Ice Spider.
We went higher and higher until we found a ledge on the side of an even taller peak. Could this be the one? That's when a leap leaf jumped down from the upper ledges and started to attack. I fired an ice blast at the mob, but it dodged away. This leap leaf was faster than I expected, so I'd have to outsmart it. I turned invisible and waited for the leap leaf to land on the ground. I dashed in and hit it with my diamond sword, dealing a bunch of damage. The moment it jumped, I fired an ice blast directly at it, defeating it for good. Mountaineer Monty was impressed with my win.
That was great! And also leap leaves only live on the tallest peak, so we must be there.
Let's keep on climbing so we can find out. Within a few minutes, we had risen to the top of the entire Ice Spikes biome. This was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in all my days as an ice spider.
Thank you for being here with me.
Down below, I saw what looked like the lair of a necromancer, a wicked and terrible base. Necromancer Bryce must be here in the Ice Spikes. Did he find me here? From day 71 to day 74, I descended the peak of the tallest mountain and began to travel through the ice spikes in the direction of the evil lair. I never expected my history with Bryce would go back so far. I need to find out why his lair is here, what happened to the other ice spiders, and of course, how I can save the world from destruction. And if you want to help me save the world, remember to search ZOZO to find more of my adventures. Make sure to tell me what you want me to play as next. Down at the base of the mountain, I wandered through a snowy blizzard, only to be confronted by Necromancer Bryce.
You've returned home, Ice Spider Zozo, but it's not your home anymore. It's my home, and soon there will be nobody home in the entire world.
Your destruction spell will never work, Bryce. Not as long as I survive without being sacrificed. I drew my sword and turned invisible, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Necromancer Bryce only laughed. He was not threatened by me at all.
Foolish Zozo! You don't understand what it means that I am here in the Ice Spikes. It means that I've already sacrificed another ice spider. My spell is secure.
I froze in place, not from the cold, but from the shock of what Bryce had said. No, you already sacrificed an ice spider, you evil monster! Bryce turned toward the spell and blasted me with a powerful spell that took off almost all of my heart. He was about to fire off another, so I ran away as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I scurried back to the base and immediately shut myself away in the coldest room of the base. I had failed. The whole point of going to the Ice Spikes was to learn more about my origin. But now, I had learned something that made me feel completely hopeless. The entire world really was going to be destroyed, and there was nothing I could do to stop it.
Never say never, Zozo.
It was the librarian golem. They had come to visit me in my time of regret. But all of the other ice spiders are gone. Necromancer Bryce sacrificed them.
I don't think that's exactly what has happened, Zozo. Bryce was trying to catch you off guard so he could sacrifice you. He still needs you for his place, and when he comes for you, we'll be ready.
The librarian golem showed me a watchtower that had been installed on the base. It would be an ideal countermeasure to any intruding undead sent by Bryce. Thanks, library golem. And you're right, the world isn't doomed yet. Later on, I consulted Illusioner Alan to see what magical spells he had been working on during my travels.
Zozo, I have used all of my magic to create this Kaitha. It is a weapon that will make you unstoppable in battle.
Thank you. That's exactly what I need. The moment I took the Kyther, I felt a great surge of power within me. I grew into the ultimate ice spider, the true king of the ice spikes. I had 100 hearts and the ability to warp short distances, combining that ability with my invisibility to really catch enemies off guard. From day 79 to day 84, I made my way back to the ice spikes, trusting that the transformation brought on by Illusioner Alan's spell would give me the ultimate power. and that the library golem wasn't wrong about there being more to learn about my past. In my mighty ice spider form, nothing in the ice spikes could rival my strength. Some specters tried to swoop down and challenge me, but I effortlessly destroyed them with my ice blast. I traveled some more through the cold biome of the ice spikes, eventually finding an Iceologer native to this region. Hello there, Iceologer.
Please, call me Iceologer Ike. It's quite nice to meet a spider of ice. There used to be a lot more of you protecting the ice spikes.
So I've heard. That was before the necromancer sacrificed them.
Oh, there was no sacrifice. Your ancestors fought against him bravely, down to the last spider. I kept one of their helmets too. You should have it.
Ike gave me a diamond helmet, which I proudly equipped. I guess there really was more to the story than I thought. From day 85 to day 89, my base was attacked by the skeleton vanguard. I arrived just in time to fend them off with weapons and ice blasts.
Spider of ice, the time has come for sacrifice.
Ha! That confirms it! You still need a sacrifice, and I'm the last spider standing. You'll never take me out. With the confidence I had developed in my ultimate ice spider form, I demolished the skeleton vanguard one by one, until the last of them went running back to the ice spikes.
Spider of ice, your sacrifice will now be done by Necromancer Bryce.
I'd like to see him try. I chased the skeleton vanguard to the edge of my base, where he kept running onward. It was there that I met a fungus thrower, who was standing next to a dugout pool of water.
Oh please, Ice Spider Zozo! My swimming pool is way too warm! Can you provide an ice blast to cool it off?
Why certainly, my fungus-throwing friend. I shot the pool with an ice blast, freezing it over. Oops, sorry, now it's more of an ice rink.
No, I like this better. I'll call my friends and we'll play some hockey.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the skeleton vanguard through the ice spikes all the way to the necropolis where Necromancer Bryce would be waiting for me.
Bryce, we need your advice.
As the skeleton vanguard approached the necropolis, it was obliterated by an attack from an armored pillager.
Never send a skeleton to do my job.
And what is your job?
Killing spiders by the dozen. Me and the rest of my pillager crew fought the ice spiders in this area back when they dared to defy Necromancer Bryce.
You mean that it was you who wiped out all the rest of the ice spiders, and you're working for Bryce? I'm going to freeze on you! I fired several ice blasts, but the armored pillager tanked them all and hit me with the same powerful attack they'd used to destroy the skeleton vanguard. It dealt a decent amount of damage, so I warped away to avoid taking more.
I faced many ice spiders just as big as you.
But you've never faced me! Gathering my courage, I warped back and swung my diamond sword into the armored pillager, returning the damage I took and then some. From day 95 to day 97, the armored pillager still wouldn't let up, and I was starting to see that his claims of taking down all the other ice spiders wasn't all talk. My ice blasts weren't very effective, so I mostly relied on my sword strikes to deal damage. My warp and invisibility powers helped me dodge most of the armored pillager's attacks so that I could hold onto my hearts.
Why can't you let me crush you like those other worthless ice spiders?
It's time you learned that those lives you trampled were never worthless. I warped all around the armored pillager and barraged him with sword attacks until he collapsed at long last.
Darn it, you have beaten me. Truth is, you spiders fought very well. I was the only survivor among the pillagers.
If you lost everyone too, why are you being such a mean guy about it? We could have talked this out.
Necromancer Bryce was going to destroy the world anyway. We thought we had to listen to him, or he'd destroy us first. That Bryce is ruthless beyond anything you've seen. After he hired us pillagers to wipe out the spiders, he had them save one remaining ice spider egg, so that he could use the ice spider that hatched for his destruction spell. That ice spider must have been you.
The armored pillager died, leaving behind a key to the lair. At that moment, I realized I had avenged my people. Well, almost. Bryce stole me away, planned to use me for his spell, and destroy the world I've only now come to know. I will stop him! On day 98, I returned to the base to heal my injuries from the battle with the armored pillager. So much had happened since I started my journey, and we were only a couple days from the day that the destruction spell would end the world. But the words that carried me all this way still rang in my ears. As long as I survive, it isn't over. I spoke to the librarian golem, who was also hopeful about our chances of stopping the destruction spell.
No sacrifice was made, and if you defeat Bryce, he'll never be able to cast another destruction spell. This could be your chance to save the entire world.
I will do it, for the world and for all the ice spiders that fought bravely against him. I wanted to make sure the powers of my magically induced final form were stable, so I went to Illusioner Alan to confirm. Your magical Kyther seems to be working, Alan.
Oh, Zozo, what have I always said? Magic can't do everything. You took that form on your own. My great illusion was convincing you that my weapon was the reason.
Wow, I didn't expect that. You truly are a skilled illusioner, Alan. But I didn't leave the base without any new gear. The gorilla made sure I had full diamond armor for the battle with Necromancer Bryce.
You're a hero, Ice Spider Zozo. I really wish I could have met more ice spiders.
As long as there's a world, there's a way. I'll make sure the world is safe after I stop Bryce.
Go get that evil creep. Remember the path I showed you through the Gravelly Mountains.
On day 99, I was traveling through the Gravelly Mountains toward the ice spikes on my way to the showdown with Necromancer Bryce. I was intercepted by a whole bunch of skeleton vanguards who seemed really eager to sacrifice me as always. Bryce really rolled out the welcome mat early, huh?
Spider of Ice, Spider of Ice, must we say it thrice? It has to be time for your sacrifice.
Even though my strength, my hearts, my gear, and my magic all surpassed theirs, the skeleton vanguards descended on me in great numbers. They're slowing me down. I won't be able to reach Bryce by the day of destruction. I had to retreat as quickly as I could. That's when I ran into the Mountaineer, and he wanted to fight those nasty skeletons for me so I could take down the big boss who started it all.
Go on now, Ice Spider. We climbed the tallest peak together. Now face your greatest challenge with pride.
On day 100, I used the key to the lair and entered the inner sanctum of Necromancer Bryce.
The day of destruction is at hand, and here you are, allowing yourself to be sacrificed.
There will be no sacrifice and no destruction. We traded a series of blasts, his Necromancy Blast and my Ice Blast. We each took a bit of damage, then I turned invisible. You crushed my people, but I'm taking back the Ice Spikes and the entire world from your evil.
You would fight to protect a world that took away your family?
The world didn't do that, Necromancer Bryce. That was you! I reappeared and attacked his blind spot with my diamond sword. He began charging up his most powerful spell yet. It was the same spell he almost defeated me with the last time we fought. Necromancer Bryce let the spell of doom fly at me. I waited until the very last second, then I used my warp ability to move out of the way and appear right behind him. You missed me, and now it's over for you. I swung my diamond sword repeatedly with all my might, destroying the Necromancer before he could destroy anything else. This world would live on, and so would I. On day 1, I spawned in the Sika Woods as an Ice Spider-Man. This is awesome! I didn't think the world's greatest web slinger could get any cooler, but hey, here I am. Things weren't all peachy though. For starters, I only had 10 hearts, and for seconds, a giant buff pigless came barging through the trees towards me.
Spider-Man, I found you.
Wait, what? I don't understand.
Don't play dumb with me, Spider-Man. I'm Pigless Polly, the biggest, meanest, smartest, and also most beautiful pigless in all the land. And you've been trying to mess with my plans for years. Don't think that turning your suit blue would confuse me. I'm a genius.
But I'm just Zozo playing Spider-Man. There's been some kind of mistake.
You will confound me not, puny spider. You better run, or my bubble brawler boys will beat you into a spidery pulp.
I could tell when I wasn't wanted, and this was one of those times. I turned and ran as quickly as I could. What did she mean about her bubble brawler boys? But life soon answered my question. A gang of bubble monsters emerged from the trees and started chasing me. Oh, there they are! Using my enhanced spider speed, I was able to escape and find a hiding place for the night. Always great to spawn into a world where someone already has a grudge against me. I need to figure this out before it's too late. On day 2, when I got the sense that the coast was cleared, I spider climbed out of my hiding spot and started to explore the woods a little more casually. This place is actually pretty beautiful. Maybe I should work on building a home around here. That's when one of the bubble monsters jumped out in front of me.
Oh, I'll build you a home, Spidey. 6 feet under. You've got a lot of nerve showing your face around here. Lady Polly wants us to destroy you on sight.
I still don't know what I did to upset your beast of a boss, but if you think this icy superhero won't be fighting back, you've just made your last mistake. We battled hand to hand. What the bubble monster didn't know was I had super spider strength, so my hits really packed a punch. After a few well-aimed strikes, I burst his bubble and moved on. Wow, beating that guy up really worked up an appetite. I need to find myself some nosh. Lucky for me, there were plenty of trees around. I collected the yummy pears from the leaves. Tasty! I knocked down the rest of the pear tree with my spider fists. With the spare wood, I made myself a wooden pickaxe. Then, I dug into the ground and collected enough stone to assemble a stone pickaxe, stone axe, and a stone sword. I've got that caveman swag now. With my new stone axe, I gathered more wood and built myself a little spider base with a room for me to spend the night indoors. Nice and cozy. Things are gonna get better and better. On day 3, I left my base and went out to explore the Jacaranda forest. It was a gorgeous sight to see. Even if there aren't any useful resources around here, it's worth it for the view. But just because the view was breathtaking didn't mean that everyone who lived there was chill. Case in point, a big angry mutated bee ran over to me.
What do you think you're doing here?
I'm walking here?
Are you making fun of me?
No, I don't even know who you are.
The name's Benson, Barry B. Benson, and I was just a normal bee until my human wife left me and I got turned into the superpowered mutant abomination.
I don't see how that's my problem.
Well, I gotta take it out on somebody, don't I?
Barry B. Benson attacked me with furious intensity, and even with my spider strength, I couldn't defeat his divorced mutant rage. Instead, I ran away as he fumed loudly in the background. He sounded like he should chill out or maybe get into jazz. On my way out of the Jacaranda forest, I ran into a sad-looking spider. Seeing as I myself was also a spider, I decided to go over and ask her if she was okay. Hey, I'm Zozo. Who are you? Is everything okay?
I'm Spider Queen, and sadly, things aren't okay.
Oh wow, Spider Queen? Does that mean you're the queen of all spiders?
No, I'm actually a One Spider tribute act to the band Queen. They're my favorite. But Pigless hates Queen, and she won't let me perform anymore.
That's horrible. Why not come back to my base? You can work on your act there.
That's amazing, Zozo. I want it all.
From day 4 to day 5, I returned to my little base in the Sika Woods with Spider Queen at my side. It's not much, but it's home.
It looks amazing to me, Zozo. Musicians don't make much money, and I'm super impressed by this. Do you want me to sleep on the floor?
What? No way! I'm gonna build you your own room. So that's exactly what I did. I gathered up enough wood to make Spider Queen her own special room where she could jam out all she liked.
Oh, Zozo, you're the best. I couldn't be happier.
Take a second to hide in there. I think I can hear another bubble monster coming towards us. Spider Queen hid away inside the room I'd made for her as I went out to battle the bubble monster.
Pigless sends her regards. We're gonna destroy you for her, one way or another, or she's gonna do it herself.
She's gonna need to destroy me herself, because there's no way you're up to the task, Bubble Boy. With my new stone sword, the bubble monster didn't stand a chance. He was soon defeated, and I returned to Spider Queen. It's okay, the bubble monster is gone now. You're safe.
We are the champions! Yay! Thank you for saving us, Zozo. Here, have one of my guitars. It plays music while you fight with it.
Spider Queen gave me the guitar, and I immediately equipped it. Whoa, this is cool as heck.
Oh yeah, we will rock you.
On day 6, I started the day with the wholesome act of sheep gathering, just in case I need the wool for a new Spidey suit. I wandered into the woods and, after a long time, emerged from them, seeing a road. Whoa, where am I? I followed the road and soon found myself in a cul-de-sac with some really cool and colorful houses nearby. Is that a flying orange? At the base of the flying orange, I saw some sheep wandering around, just what I was looking for. I started to round up the sheep when an orange boy came bounding out of the orange at me.
Get away from my sheep, you costume creep!
Whoa, hang on a second. I didn't want to hurt him, but he wouldn't listen to me.
Richie, what are you doing? Leave that guy alone.
Yeah, Richie, he didn't know those were your sheep.
Richie stopped chasing me as 3 more characters, one of which looked like a bear, came running over to me.
Max, do you know who this guy is? He looks like he might be dangerous.
Relax, Beast. I'm sure he's fine. Whoa, that suit is awesome. Did you invent that? I'm something of a scientist myself.
You guys are being so rude. What's your name? I'm Sky, this is Beast, Max, and Richie.
I'm Zozo, and yeah, this is my Spidey suit. One of the icy variety anyway. What are you guys doing out here? But before they could answer, I saw the last person I wanted to see. It was Pigless. She had found me, and she was wielding a huge, terrifying mace.
Like my new hardware, Spider-Man? This mace is one of the most powerful weapons out there. Perfect for squishing a nasty little bug like you.
Whoa, who is the little piggy?
Max, don't provoke her. Can't you see what she's holding?
Hey, who do you think you are talking to our new friend like that?
Oh, glad to know there's no hard feelings about the sheep. This is Pigless Polly. She kinda wants to destroy me.
Enough jibber-jabber! I'll squash all of you then!
Yeah, we'd like to see you try.
We're not scared of you.
Max threw down a mysterious item on the ground, and a bunch of armor appeared out of it. His friends suddenly put on armor that matched their colors, along with some matching swords.
Fine! No need to ruin a perfectly good neighborhood. But mark my words, Spidey, I'll find you again, and I'll be stronger than ever!
Pigless Polly turned and ran, leaving me alone with Max and his friends. Whoa, guys, thanks for the help. I could use you guys back at my base.
That sounds really fun, but I don't think we can make it. To answer your question from before about what we're doing here, I'm a YouTuber, and I document all the crazy adventures my friends and I go on.
Yeah, if you've got some days to spare, you should hang out with us.
You know, I could actually use a couple days to lay low after that encounter. Let's do it! From day 7 to day 8, well, actually, you'll just have to click the link in the description to watch what I did on days 7 and 8 with Max and his friends. Our adventure is just in English though, but it was super fun. And if you watch, be sure to leave a comment on his video to let him know I sent you. From day 9 to day 10, I was on my way back to my base with some sheep as a gift from Richie. When I arrived, Spider Queen came running over to talk to me.
I've been building, Zozo. Come, check it out.
She'd been building a lot, in fact. One of the first things I'd seen was the statue she'd been working on to inspire me. I couldn't tell what it was yet, but I was very excited to find out. Do you have any ideas? Let me know down in the comments. And the statue wasn't all. She'd also been working on some new buildings and upgrades for the base itself, including a storage room for all of our gear, a training room for practicing our skills, and a furnace for smelting ore into ingots. I'm so glad to have you here, Spider Queen.
And I'm grateful to have you here as a friend. You're the best friend I've ever had, Zozo.
Last thing I did for the day was set up a basic sheep pen and went to bed. From day 11 to day 12, Spider Queen and I relaxed while she practiced her music. I've been wondering, why do you think Pigless Polly believes I'm her Spider-Man? How can there even be more than one Spider-Man?
I've got a theory about that, actually. I think when you spawned, it created a dimensional rift that sent this universe's Spider-Man into your native dimension while bringing you here, like a big cross-dimensional swap.
Whoa, that's wild! How can you know all this when you're just a one-spider tribute pen? No offense, of course.
I actually have a degree in trans-dimensional physics. It's more of a hobby thing, really. Being a Queen Tribute Act is my real ambition.
From day 13 to day 15, I returned to the beautiful Jacaranda Forest with a plan in mind. Defeat that dastardly Barry B. Benson, the mutated bee. He's gotta be around here somewhere. I mean, he's so aggro, I imagine he'll come looking for me. And I was right. After a little more searching, Barry the mutated bee ran in and prepared to attack me.
There you are! You've been due for a good thrashing, Zozo! I still haven't forgiven you for your trespasses against me earlier!
I still don't fully understand what I did, but if we've got to fight, let's just get it over with and fight!
Finally, you're making some sense!
And so, our battle began. I battered him with my guitar until he submitted, but I decided against finishing him off because honestly, I felt sorry for him. Go talk to your ex-wife, Barry. You clearly have some pent-up anger issues, and you're not gonna solve them by beating up random strangers.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry for all the trouble, Zozo.
And with that, he left. But my act of kindness and mercy gave me some XP to level up, getting 30 hearts, getting bigger and stronger, and getting a web shooter, which I could use to shoot webs. About time. I wonder. Whoa! I can also ride the webs as they fly through the air. Awesome! At long last, some real Spider-Man powers. This is great! From day 16 to day 19, I decided that I couldn't battle every baddie with just a guitar, so I went down into the nearest mining cavern to find some iron ore. Spider-Man! Spider-Man wants his hands on some iron, man. And my catchy theme song worked, because I did manage to find a vein of iron ore and immediately started mining it. This seems like about enough to make the tools I want. Time to head back to my base. But on the way out of the mining cave, I saw a dangerous zombie spoiner standing in my way. But wait, this is a perfect opportunity to try out my new web shooter. I started throwing down cobwebs, trapping the zombie spoiner in place and slowing him down to a crawl. With him lodged in place, it was easy to finish him off with my rockin' guitar. Yeah, that power is gonna be really useful. After that, I went back to my base and smelted the ore in my furnace until I had just enough ingots to make a metal sword and a metal pickaxe, axe, and some boots. This has been an extremely successful excursion. From day 20 to day 22, I was having the most amazing dream when I was suddenly woken up by Spider Queen standing anxiously next to my bed.
Zozo, I'm sorry to wake you up, but something really scary is happening.
Oh no, what's that?
I was playing Bohemian Rhapsody a little too loudly, and I think Piglet's heard me. Long story short, she's standing outside.
What?
Now I think we need to fight her.
It's too dangerous for you, Spider Queen. Stay in here. I'll go and face her alone. And that's exactly what I did. I got out of bed and ran out to battle Piglet, who was still wielding her terrifying mace.
There you are, Spider-Man. Not so tough with all your colorful friends no longer around. It's time for you to meet your doom.
I keep telling you, I'm not the Spider-Man you're looking for. I come from a different dimension. I'm the Ice Spider-Man.
Well, even if you aren't my Spider-Man, I'll still settle for getting to destroy a Spider-Man. And you'll do just fine.
If your mind's made up, then I guess we better fight. And we did, but this time I had a way better chance. I threw down some cobwebs immediately, trapping Piglet in place before pulling out my iron sword and going to town. In the end, she broke free from the cobwebs, but she seemed startled.
You're stronger than I remember. I don't have time for this. We'll battle again soon, and next time you won't be so lucky.
She fled after that, leaving me feeling stronger and more confident than ever. If I keep getting stronger, I think I can finally take her. From day 23 to day 26, I spent some time at my base, calmly collecting myself and spitting together a new addition to my spider suit. I used the wool from the sheep I got from Richie and some emu feathers that were laying on the ground to weave some outback leggings. With these, I could move faster and dodge out of the way of projectiles. Now I've really got the agility of a spider. It wouldn't be perfect. There was only about a 45% chance I'd be able to avoid oncoming attacks, but it was the edge I would need in my next battle with Pigless. And if you think this adventure is getting wild, then you should search for more videos and see more of my Minecraft challenges. Just type ZOZO into the search bar up above. From day 27 to day 31, while I was still hunkered down at the base in the Secret Woods, I noticed Spider Queen seemed to be struggling with her statue. What's wrong, Spider Queen?
Zozo, I just feel so under pressure. It's pushing down on me. I want to get the statue finished, but I'm missing a very key component.
Hey, it's okay. You've been doing great so far. Here, why don't I help you out? What's this component you need to add to your statue?
I just need some redstone blocks.
Say no more. I'll go and fetch some.
Thank you, Zozo.
I ventured off to track down large quantities of redstone, making my way towards the Twilight Valley. This place was a lot darker than the other areas I had visited. The shadows were the perfect cover for some bubble monsters to sneak up and ambush me.
There he is! Get him! Piglet's orders!
Hey, come on, guys. Surely there's a peaceful way around this. Piglet can't be paying you that much.
It's not always about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the Mets, baby. Let's go. Get a home run!
Jerry, quiet down. Sorry, he gets a little excited about baseball. Oh, hey, where'd he go?
Over here, Bubble Brain. I turned the shadows to my advantage and struck the bubble monsters in place with my cobweb attacks. They tried to swipe at me from the spots they were stuck to, but a few swinging smashes with my slamming six strings and their bubbles were burst. And just my luck, nearby there was a large deposit of redstone ore, so I gathered it up for Spider Queen. From day 32 to day 35, I continued patrolling around the Twilight Valley for any more signs of trouble, along with any more useful resources I could bring back. And while I was wandering around, I overheard the sound of distressed wailing.
Help! Oh, won't someone help me? I'm far too important to need to ask for help.
Hey there, who are you?
What a rather humorous joke. Quite amusing, yes, imagine not knowing who I am. Why, you've cheered me up somewhat, small spidery peasant.
I wasn't kidding. I don't know who you are.
Don't know? How insulting. I am royalty. I am the King Pig, pig-headed head of the pig-head monarchy.
Oh, my bad. Are you needing help with something?
Well, it's about time you offered. My benefactor, the rich mummy, has run afoul of a hairy troll. And since he provides me with a lion's share of his wealth, I'm distraught. He's not even written me into his will yet, so I won't get any of his gold if that troll smashes him.
You, want me to go save him? I am a superhero after all.
Oh, a hero of the common folk. How quaint. Yes, on you go, Spider Boy.
It's Spider-Man! Ice Spider-Man! From day 36 to day 39, I searched the Twilight Valley for any signs of this rich mummy, and eventually came across my first sign of where he might be, a troll's mini base. I watched from a distance, and it looked like the hairy troll was guarding the front entrance. If I tried to just walk up, he could smash me to spider smithereens. So I had to think up a strategy. How was I going to get in there? I'd need to take the troll out, but attacking head-on was a bad idea. Sneaking around the back? It could work, but it might take too long, and the rich mummy might be doomed if the troll got hungry before I could reach him. Think, Zozo, think! You can do whatever a spider can. Oh, could I climb in? I tried on a nearby tree, but I couldn't stick to it. No climbing up walls for me, that stinks. I could ride my web shooter, but he will spot me immediately. That's not gonna work either. Maybe my best option was to look for another way in. From day 40 to day 43, I made my way around the outskirts of the troll's mini-base, and lucky for me, there was a back entrance. Inside, I found the rich mummy trapped in a cage.
Who might you be? Oh no, you're not with him, are you? Oh ghastly, you must be his torturer.
No, I'm Ice Spider-Man. I'm here to save you. Just keep it down. I need to clear the way ahead. Then I'll come back for you. I snuck through the base and spotted the hairy troll. He didn't see me coming, so I used the element of surprise while I had it. I spun my webs to catch him in place, but he was strong enough to tear himself free. It barely slowed him down. He swung his mace at me, and I was luckily able to dodge out of the way just in the nick of time, thanks to my Outback leggings. I retaliated by swinging my guitar at him, but the hairy troll had a high resistance to rock. Thinking quick, I used my webs again, not to get him stuck, but to blind him. It worked! I could get close enough to bash the hairy troll with my guitar and defeated him! With the troll out of the way, I went back to free the rich mummy and led him back to the king pig.
Reginald, so good to see you. Thank you for your assistance, Spider Peasant. You may leave my mighty presence now.
So much for grateful. From day 44 to day 49, I finally made my way back to base to deliver the redstone blocks that Spider Queen needed.
This is perfect. Exactly what I needed. Zozo, you make the rockin' world go round.
It was no problem, Spider Queen. Can't wait to see what you do with it. It was then that I took a look around the base. The whole place was in a real sorry state. I decided now that I had a moment to spare, I'd dedicate some time to cleaning up and improving the base with some defensive upgrades. I built a sturdy perimeter wall to stop any intruders from getting in. By the time I was done, Spider Queen had something to show me.
Ta-da! Open your eyes, look up to the sky, and see!
Wow, that's really something, Spider Queen.
Thanks, Zozo. It's not quite done, but it'll rock you when it's finished.
From day 50 to day 53, I awoke to the sound of a struggle. Spider Queen was in trouble.
Zozo, help! Help me! I want to break free! I've got to break free!
I rushed into action, but as soon as I stepped out of my room, I was greeted by a gang of bubble monsters.
Rise and shine, Ice Spider-Man.
I didn't order room service, guys.
It's on the house, no charge. Speaking of, boys, charge!
Outside, Pigless had arrived, and she was sending in hordes of her bubble minions to attack. I hadn't even had breakfast yet, and now I had to fend off monsters with all of my might. Good thing I got in my 8 hours last night.
We got that spotty you're looking for, boss.
You idiots! That's the musician! I wanted the little brat in blue pajamas, not Leggy Mercury here.
I was still battling the bubble monsters. By the time I had finally burst every last one of them, I had gained enough XP to level up. Wow, I've heard some people start their day with a workout, but this is insane. I now had 50 hearts and a new ability, Ice Blast. I was quickly becoming the coolest superhero around. There was one problem. I'd lost my musical guest in the process. From day 54 to day 57, I decided my only option was to return to the pompous King Pig and see if he knew where I could find Pigless. King Pig, Pigless. I wonder if the two of them are related. Yeah, probably just a coincidence. A short journey later, and I was back in the Twilight Valley. All I had to do was listen out for the sounds of stolen moneybags, and sure enough, I found the monarch in front of his castle.
Oh, you're back. Spider something, wasn't it? Did one of my servants send for you?
No, I'm here to ask you some questions. And since you didn't even thank me for saving your friend, I'd say you at least owe me a little bit of your time.
My time is very valuable, like all the jewels and gemstones my servants brought me from far away. But I suppose I have a few moments to spare.
My friend was taken by Pigless. I need to know where she is.
Pigless? Pigless? Do not speak that name!
You know each other then?
She's a traitor to the crown, a deserter. She stormed out when she figured out she'd never be next in line to the throne. Gave her a real complex. She feels like she's better than everyone, but still not good enough if she can't rule.
Wait, so does that make her your sister? Or no, cousin? Royalty is confusing, and it seems like a lot of fuss over nothing.
Nothing? How dare you? We uphold a proud and noble tradition of theft. A tradition of tradition.
So where is Piglet now?
I don't keep in touch. She said some very hurtful things about me which weren't at all true. But last I heard, she resides in Red Rock Mountain, although the terrain is harsh, so you won't make it there in one piece with so little armor.
From day 58 to day 62, I decided to follow up on the one useful piece of advice the King Pig had to offer and set about crafting myself some tough new armor. I scoured the area until I found a cave that led to a mine tucked away deep underground, and in the mine was plenty of what I needed: diamonds! I managed to find quite a few, but not enough to make the armor I needed. Not wanting them to go to waste, I forged them into a mighty diamond sword for stronger attacks, and a matching pickaxe to make mining quicker and easier. I didn't have to wait long to test them out either. As it turned out, the mine belonged to a skeleton jackal who was none too happy about me mining his diamonds. But it didn't take more than a few swings of my shiny new blade to settle our differences. From day 63 to day 66, I decided, rather than rushing straight back into danger and venturing up the treacherous terrain of the Red Rock Mountain, I hiked back to base to catch up on some rest. That way, I could be ready and refreshed when I set off to save Spider Queen. But speaking of Spider Queen, when I returned to base, I was met with a saddening sight. Her statue left unfinished now that she'd been captured. I thought about completing it in her honor, but it felt too much like admitting defeat before I'd even tried to save her. So instead, I left it as it was. She could have the satisfaction of finishing her hard work once I'd gotten her back in one piece. Knowing her, she was probably looking forward to it. I settled in for the night, right in Spider Queen's bedroom. That way, I feel closer to her. Watch till the end of the video to see if we manage to save her. And why not click that subscribe button down below to stay tuned for future videos. From day 67 to day 70, I made my long journey towards Red Rock Mountain, scaling the dangerous Crimson Cliff Face and being careful to watch my step. One fall, and it could be all over. As I descended from the peaks, I spotted a path. I followed until I saw the looming structure that Piglet had made into her base, and the whole place was massive and absolutely crawling with her minions. While I was still scoping it out from a distance, I thought back to my mission to save the rich zombie from that hairy troll, and how I hadn't been able to enter through the front, but had better luck looking for a second way in. So I tried the same tactic again, heading around, scaling massive mountains, swinging from one hilltop to the other until I made it to the side of the base. I saw my entry point, an opening in the side. I aimed carefully and shot my web shooter to make my way in, and I landed right in the middle of a group of bubble monsters.
It's the spider! Get this sucker, boys!
Heck of a way to roll out the welcome wagon. You treat all your guests like this? I swung my diamond sword and instantly slashed the nearest two, taking care of the next with a well-timed ice blast. Another hit from my sword, and he was shattered to pieces, while the others were quickly stuck fast with my webs right where I could strike at them. From day 71 to day 74, I snuck around the inside of Red Rock Mountain Base, making sure to keep out of the path of Piglet's many minions. But there was one enemy I recognized.
Halt in the name of Piglet! Oh wait, it's you, Zozo!
Barry? Barry B. Benson?
Black and yellow, hello!
How are things with you and your wife?
Hard to say. We're still going through it. We're planning to go see a concert soon. She likes jazz.
That's good. So you're not gonna attack me?
Nah, you're good. I just need to think about some things.
It wasn't hard to see that his heart really wasn't all in on working for Piglet.
It's a good job. I mean, there's not a lot of coverage, no dental, stuff like that.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, sure. Listen, I shouldn't tell you this, but check the chest in the room up ahead. There's some handy stuff in there.
I went to investigate and found myself the proud owner of a full set of diamond armor. Whoa, Barry wasn't kidding. Now I can match the speed of a spider with the protection of diamonds. From day 75 to day 78, I explored a little more and found where Piglet had left Spider Queen trapped in a big cage. She'd clearly been singing to herself to keep her spirits up, but by now, she was just yelling in case any of the bubble monsters were passing by.
I just gotta get out of this prison cell. Someday I'm gonna be free. Oh, look, I want to break free. I've got to break free. Now? Please? Easy come, easy go. Will you let me go?
Now's good for you then?
Zozo! Oh, you're a sight for sore eyes. I've been so bored cooped up here. I want to get out and have fun. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike.
You have a bike? But you've got 8 legs.
I think it's a metaphor or something.
Well, I've got just the thing to break you out.
Gunpowder? Gelatine? Dynamite with a laser beam?
Close. It's a diamond sword. With a swing of the blade, I cracked open the lock and sent Spider Queen back to our base. She rushed off, and not a moment too soon, because Pigless had found me.
You! First you intrude on my dimension, then you intrude on my home. I'm going to squash you at long last, puny spider!
Pigless came at me, but I was able to freeze one of her feet in place, then web her hands to slow her down. I leaped close to swipe at her with my diamond sword, but just when I thought I had the upper hand, she knocked me back with a powerful hit. I decided to escape while I still could, and dashed out of the base. From day 79 to day 84, I was exhausted from the fighting, so the Spider Queen offered to give me a ride, which was really nice of her. We managed to make our way back to safety, but little did I realize that Pigless had had enough.
That little wretch! How dare he try to defy my right to rule! He and the rest of this overworld will soon see that they shouldn't have messed with Pigless!
With that, Pigless used a powerful potion to make herself even stronger. Now she'd be an even tougher fight when it came time for me to face off with her again. From day 85 to day 89, we arrived back at base, and my good friend Spider Queen, whose ride was surprisingly comfy, was super happy to be free from Pigless's cage.
Pigless thought she could stop me and spit in my eye. But we did it. We are the champions, my friend.
We sure are.
Look, I managed to swipe this from one of the guards at Pigless's base. I thought I could use it to break free, but instead, I was just screaming, "Let me out!" Anyway, I think you should have it. You're gonna take on the world someday.
Spider Queen handed me the upgrade. It was a fire aspect and sharpness 2 enchantment. I immediately went to apply it to my diamond sword to deal some extra damage. Now, I had the power of ice, fire, and spiders on my side. Once I was done improving my sword, I returned to find Spider Queen putting the final finishing touches on her statue.
Ayo, are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Then may I present to you my masterpiece. I call it Zohemian Rhapsody.
Zohemian?
Named after you, of course, Zozo. I can't keep living without you by my side.
I like it. Makes me feel ready to take on Pigless one last time.
Well, you better be careful. I saw she had a whole cabinet of potions to make her stronger. Her bubble monsters steal them from King Pig's cellar and bring them back to her.
Huh, maybe I can intercept them and take a potion for myself. That ought to level the playing field.
And that way, you'll keep on fighting to the end.
From day 90 to day 94, I headed back towards the Twilight Valley and followed a trail that the bubble monsters had left from the King Pig's palace to a small camp they had set up nearby. Just like Spider Queen had told me, they had a potion of power, but it must have been the last one left.
Yep, that's the last one left. Hey, boss, question. If Pigless had us stealing all these here potions, why doesn't she give each of us one? Then we'd all be a tougher army, and she could overthrow the King Pig.
We're not about that kind of talking. The potions are for Pigless.
I webbed the closest bubble monster in place, slashing the other with my newly enchanted fire aspect diamond sword. The heat popped them in an instant, and before the other two could get free, I cut them down too. I retrieved the last potion of power, but waited before I drank it. The King Pig's palace was only a short walk away, and maybe I could get one last favor from him. From day 95 to day 97, I walked right up to the King Pig's throne and showed him what I had recovered. You know what this is?
Why, that's an excellent vintage. One glass is worth the yearly wages of my entire staff. You'd better put that back in the cellar with the others before I have you executed.
There are no more others. Pigless had been sending her minions in to steal them from right under your nose.
Pigless? Something must be done about that treasonous traitor.
I'll take care of Pigless, but only if you let me keep this potion and be way nicer to your servants. In fact, stop hoarding all this fancy expensive stuff. Learn to share.
Share? What is that? I'm not familiar with this common folk slang.
You have a whole library here. Look it up in the dictionary. After a few moments of learning what sharing was, the King Pig returned.
Preposterous! If how do I pronounce it? Shared, I wouldn't have all my power and riches.
But that might not be such a bad thing, if even a fraction of your wealth might improve the lives of other people.
So if I, say for example, just gave you this netherite armor, then how would that improve anyone's life?
Well, with that, I could take down Pigless, which is also what you want, isn't it?
Yes, but confound it! What commoner wizardry is this? You've confused me. I need to go lie down. Here, this is yours, I think.
With that, the King Pig handed over an entire set of netherite armor. Now I had the most powerful protection against Pigless. On day 98, I returned to my base to make the final preparations I needed to ahead of my big battle with Pigless. I had my diamond sword at the ready, enchanted with a powerful fire aspect for added flaming damage. I had my netherite armor on, ready to defend me against oncoming damage. Plus, I had my Ice Spider-Man powers at the ready. I even tested out my Ice Blasts and Cobwebs, and they were ready to go. Before leaving though, I stopped by Spider Queen's room to tell her how to get to Max's neighborhood. If I didn't make it back, she would need a safe place to live. Now there was just one question: what was going to happen next? If you think you know, then leave your answers in the comments. And while you're there, tell us what video you'd like to see next. On day 99, I made my final journey to Red Rock Mountain and stopped just outside the entrance to Pigless's base. It was quiet, too quiet. All her minions seemed to have run off in fear. If they were that scared of her new, more powerful form, then I needed to be prepared. I drank the potion of power, and this upgraded me to my final form. I now had a full 100 hearts, and the last of my Ice Spider-Man powers were finally unlocked. I could climb walls. Ready for anything, I headed inside to find Pigless waiting for me. She was much bigger and stronger than before, and way more vicious.
I was meant to rule this overworld. It's my birthright, and I won't have you meddling in my destiny any longer.
Oh, I don't think so, Pigless. The battle was on. Pigless hurled a javelin at me, but thanks to my super spider agility and my outback leggings, I dodged right out of the way, then climbed up the nearby wall so I was out of her reach. From my vantage point, I fired Ice Blast and Cobwebs at her, trying to slow her down.
Get down from there!
She threw another javelin, and I went to get out of the way, but I timed it wrong and fell. I quickly picked myself up and got back into the fight. It was the toughest of battles, but Pigless seemed to be overexerting herself. I managed to keep dodging away, climbing the walls, and using my webs to slow her down, until finally I landed an Ice Blast.
This is too cold.
Don't worry, my sword has a fire aspect enchantment. It should help turn up the heat. With a mighty strike, I had done it! Pigless was defeated at last! On day 100, instead of returning to my base, I returned victorious to Max's neighborhood, where I was immediately greeted by Spider Queen, as well as Max and his friends.
Another one bites the dust. Great work, Zozo. I knew you were gonna be a big man someday.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you, Spider Queen.
Oh, you're too kind. You're the champion here, Zozo.
Spider Queen really livened the place up with her music, but we're glad to see you made it back in one piece.
Me too, and everyone should click the link in the description to check out the adventure we went on together. Then, much to my surprise, the King Pig also showed up.
Zozo, my boy, you didn't tell me that sharing also came with this delightful feeling. I don't really know what it's called, but seeing the smiles on my servants' faces gave me one of those, what are they called? Emotions?
You mean you feel happy?
That's the ticket, and I've been reading up too. Did you know that all the traditions of the pighead monarchy are centuries old? It seems so silly to still be upholding them.
So what did you do?
Oh, I gave my palace and all my riches to my servants. Except they aren't my servants anymore, just people. And so am I. Look at me, one of the people. Now, who is your charming eight-legged friend here?
Well, you might be a former King Pig, but she's Spider Queen.
And we will rock you.
On day 1, I spawned as a golden HYDRA. Whoa, this is amazing! I looked around and noticed that I was in some sort of cave. I ventured out and immediately saw some scary dread knights.
There he is! Catch him!
No thanks! I scurried away, the men following after me.
You come back here!
They started shooting darts at me. Ah! One dart hit me and I lost some hearts. Wait, I only have 5 hearts? This is insane! I hurried and tried to get away, but the men were too fast. They surrounded me as I felt my eyes start to close.
Perfect. Everything is coming together.
And with that, I passed out. On day 2, I woke up in a cage. Oh, where am I? I looked around and noticed that there were more cages around me, but most of them were empty. I almost didn't notice the frog sitting in the cage nearby. He blended in with the floor really well.
I was waiting for you to wake up. Come on, we gotta get out of here.
But how? Even if we can get out of the cages, I don't know how to get out of the prison.
I know a way out, but you need to be the one to unlock the door.
I looked closer and examined the gate. I began to hit it with my heads, but that started to make me feel dizzy. The frog laughed at me.
Oh, no, use your fire spit.
Fire spit? I did what the frog said, and I spit at the lock. But it wasn't fire, it was golden little orbs. I left the cage and started firing away at the frog's cage until it opened too.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. I'm Zozo, by the way.
I'm Freddy.
Freddy and I made our way over to the exit and broke through the door, up the stairs. We were home free. On day 3, Freddy and I hurried as fast as we could away from the underground prison. While we were running, I spotted some pigs and chickens and hurried to gather their meat before they could scamper away. I gathered up their meat and shared some with Freddy. We both chowed down.
Thanks, Zozo. And I gotta say, that prison break was amazing. I didn't know you could spit gold.
Neither did I. In fact, I didn't know much about anything, except that some evil guys were after me. Freddy and I agreed to go our separate ways. I went further into the forest to explore. Maybe I would find some other hydras.
Little Hydra.
I turned and saw an old troll walking slowly up behind me. He looked hurt.
Would you mind helping me? I was attacked and need to get back home before it gets dark.
Of course. We slowly made our way to his home, a little cottage next to a river.
Thank you, little Hydra. Please come inside so that you are safe. There are all kinds of monsters outside.
The guy seemed nice enough, so I stayed with him for the night. On days 4 to 5, I woke up in the troll's house. He had cooked some stew for both of us. Thank you. What did you say your name was?
I'm Horace, just a poor old troll trying to make his way in the world.
Horace seemed better than yesterday, but still very tired. Is there anything I can do to help you?
Actually, I'm more concerned for your safety. You are the Golden Hydra after all.
The Golden Hydra?
A prophecy was given many years ago by a great seer. She said that a Golden Hydra would be born, and it would be his destiny to either save or destroy the land.
Is that me?
I believe it is.
What should I do?
Build yourself a safe house, gather materials, strengthen yourself as much as you can. You need to be at your best.
Horace gave me some stone tools and a full stack of oak planks.
Use these to start. I hope to hear from you, little Hydra. Be careful who you trust.
I left Horace's house to find a good place to start a base. I found a nearby lake on the plains with some nice level ground. I used my stone tools to gather additional material and started working on a modest Japanese-style gold Hydra base. It may have only been one building for me so far, but there was plenty of room on the plains for this base to expand with more buildings and features. It was all coming together when I heard some men yelling.
There's the Hydra! Get him!
It was more of those evil Dread Knights! Not today, you goons! I spit my orbs at them, and they all turned to gold. Oh, wow, that is not what I expected. Just then, I felt power rush through me, and I grew into a larger Hydra. Now I have 11 hearts. Nice! I'll beat whoever controls those Dread Knights in no time. On days 6 to 8, I ventured from my base to gather more information. Also, I wanted to see if I could find more creatures that needed shelter from the mysterious villain and his men. I came across some tortoises who immediately tried to run away. Hey, I'm a friend! They looked at me warily.
You aren't working with the sorcerer?
No, a sorcerer? Is that who's commanding all the Dread Knights? I have nothing to do with him.
Look, kid, it would just be better if you left this land. It's not safe for you.
The tortoises slipped away, leaving me confused. I decided to go back to Horace's house to ask him about it.
A great sorcerer has purged this land and intends to use your power for his purposes. He will stop at nothing to get you.
That's awful. What should I do?
There is a cave nearby that has some armor and tools that we could use. I was on my way there the other day when I was attacked. That's a good place to start.
Sounds like a plan. On days 9 to 10, I hurried to the cave that Horace mentioned and went to explore. Sure enough, there was a chest hidden behind some rocks. Just as I was about to open it, a great hairy spider came rushing out. Ugh, gross! He attacked me, and I was too slow to spit my golden orbs. I took quite a bit of damage. Ouch! I hurried and slithered from the cave. This is too hard. I can't defeat him by myself.
Hey, are you trying to get rid of that spider too?
A wolf came out from behind a tree. Yeah, I am. Why do you want him gone?
He took some of my armor. I'm trying to keep myself safe from the sorcerer's goons.
Me too. Maybe we can work together. We came up with a plan and went back down to the spider's lair. The wolf distracted him, and I shot my golden orbs at him. He turned immediately into a gold statue.
Wow!
We gathered the materials in the chest, and I gave the wolf the reptile armor.
Be careful out there.
Zozo.
Zozo. I'm Lex.
Thanks, Lex. Take care of yourself. On days 11 to 12, I returned to Horus. At first, he was happy, but when I told him that I'd given Lex the armor from the chest, he got really mad.
The other animals don't matter, little Hydra. What matters is that you're strong.
He was acting really weird, but I couldn't blame him. He was probably scared of the sorcerer and just wanted us to be safe.
You've done well, but this isn't enough. Now you must travel to the Black Forest and gather more strength potions left there by wizards of yore. This is important, little Hydra. Don't trust anyone besides me. Defeat anyone who stands in your way.
I left the house, wondering why Horus didn't want me to trust anyone else. He was probably just paranoid. As I made my way to the Black Forest, I saw some more of the sorcerer's goons traveling along the river. I tried to be quiet and slither away, but they spotted me.
It's the Hydra! Grab him!
I dodged some of their darts and shot my golden orbs at them. They tried to escape, but after a few shots, they were all statues. Nice! I soon reached the depths of the Black Forest, hoping to gather the potions Horus wanted. On days 13 to 15, I plucked up the courage to enter the sinister Black Forest. At first, there didn't seem to be anyone there, but I kept looking, wanting to find those potions. After just a few moments, I saw a family of hoglins gathered around a campfire, harmlessly warming themselves. Why does Horus want me to defeat these hoglins? They seem really nice. I slithered in, and the hoglins were taken aback. I don't mean you any harm, I'm just curious if you have any armor. The hoglins were cautious, but one answered me.
Are you going to try to steal it from us like the others?
Others? What others?
Sorcerer's men. They have tried to steal it before. They want all the armor taken away from the creatures in the land, so they can't fight the sorcerer.
What? That didn't seem right. I needed to talk to Horus about this. On days 16 to 19, I traveled back to Horus's house. I arrived, and he seemed happy to see me. But when I told him I couldn't get the strength potions from the Black Forest, he immediately turned angry.
Don't you know what's at stake? You needed to get those potions. You need to get stronger.
Why is it so important that I'm stronger?
You are not fulfilling my expectations. I need to think this through.
He told me to leave. I did, more confused than before. When I arrived back at my base, Freddy Frog was there. Hey, buddy, it's been a while.
Zozo, I'm so glad you're okay. I heard that you met the sorcerer. How did you survive?
What do you mean? I haven't met him.
All the creatures have seen him hiding out in the woods. He's disguised as a simple old troll.
Wait, was he talking about Horus?
I heard he's planning an attack with his goons today. He's going to the village in the plains.
I had to see for myself if this was true. It couldn't be Horus, could it? I went with Freddy to the village in the plains like he said. When we got there, I saw the goons being led by a very recognizable troll. I looked closer and realized it was Horus. You manipulated me. Horus turned toward me.
Oh, Zozo, you gullible little Hydra. You are too quick to trust, but you've been a hindrance. Time for a change of plans.
You had no right to do that to me, and you have no right to steal from innocent creatures and people. I charged at him, spewing golden orbs. He easily outmaneuvered them, and with his powerful swing, threw me back into a building. Before I knew it, I blacked out. On days 20 to 22, I woke up with Freddy looking down at me.
Oh, good. You're awake. You need to help the villagers.
I got up and followed Freddy to the village. Some of the buildings were on fire. Everyone, move away from the buildings! I hurried and spewed my orbs at them, extinguishing the fires. It was definitely not what the villagers were expecting.
Whoa, this is amazing. How can we repay you?
It might not be safe here anymore. You can all live at my base with me. I have lots of room. The villagers talked amongst themselves for a little while, then readily agreed. We made our way to my base and then gathered some needed supplies for the new houses. It was hard work, but in no time, everyone had a house of their own.
Thank you, Zozo. These look amazing.
On days 23 to 26, I went back to the cave where I originally spawned. It must have been important, so I figured that I should investigate. I entered the cave and it seemed very normal. I was hoping to find some sort of clue as to who my parents were. It had been a crazy couple of days, and even though I had friends, I wondered if I had family. All of a sudden, I heard a noise coming from deeper in the cave. I explored further and saw another HYDRA, but she was being attacked by a group of skeletons. Get away from her! I slithered down and started shooting the skeletons. Within just a few moments, those bags of bones were gone. I turned to the HYDRA, but then I felt a power surge through me. I grew, and then I leveled up into an adult HYDRA. I now have 18 hearts. I let out a large breath of golden fire.
Zozo?
The HYDRA looked scared of me. No need to be scared. Who are you?
I'm your mother.
My mother? I'm so glad I found you. Where did you go?
I laid an egg and went to find some food, but when I came back, you were gone. I was so worried about you.
How about you come live with me? I have a base and it'll be much safer than this cave. She happily agreed and we made our way in that direction. On days 27 to 31, as my mother and I left the cave, we happened upon Freddy again.
Hey, Zozo, do you think you could help my family?
He directed me toward a small alcove nearby that had been broken apart. What happened?
The sorcerer's goons tried to break our alcove after we refused to leave. We managed to escape before anyone was hurt, but we don't have a home now.
The frogs looked very sad, so I offered to build them a new home on my base.
Really? That would be great. Thank you so much.
With the frogs and my mother in tow, we continued on our way to my base. Once we arrived, we got straight to work, building a pond for the frogs and placing down a bed for my mother. I also noticed that the villagers had planted crops and gathered some animals. I even made a nice path connecting all the buildings. Thanks, guys. You've done some great work here. It was all starting to come together.
I will get that golden HYDRA if it's the last thing I do. He is the key to all of my plans.
What would you like me to do, Master?
I want you to follow him. Make sure he is met with challenges. He needs to reach maximum strength by the full moon. It's vital that you do this.
Yes, Master.
On days 32 to 35, I wanted to return to the underground prison where Freddy and I were held. If Horace wanted to befriend me, why did he capture me in the first place?
That's a good question. Maybe there are some answers at the prison.
I asked Freddy if he wanted to come with me, and he readily agreed. We made our way down the tower where we had escaped, and noticed that there were iron golems standing around this time. That's new, and they don't look like they work for Horace.
I wasn't expecting you to come back here.
I flipped around to see one of the iron golems standing right behind me. Are you one of the guards?
Not exactly. I bartered with some of Horace's goons that are corrupt. They agreed to give you to me as a bargaining chip. We weren't expecting you to escape so quickly, however.
So you're not my enemy. You just want to sabotage him.
Basically.
So...
perhaps we can make an arrangement to stop him.
What do you have in mind?
I'll be in touch. I have some research to do. Just look out for a message from Puck the Honorable.
Honorable? You captured my friend Freddy.
Sorry, what can I say? I like frog legs.
I heard Freddy gulp behind me.
Don't worry, I won't eat your friend, but we'll be in touch, Zozo.
And just like that, he left, without even saying goodbye. Not very polite, but okay. On days 36 to 39, I went venturing into a nearby cave to find some iron ore that could help buff out my equipment. After I found enough, I built a furnace, smelted some iron ingots, and finally made myself an iron sword, iron pickaxe, and some armor. Cool, looking good. I went digging deeper and even managed to find some diamonds. Yes, jackpot! This will be great for some upgrades. Before I could start crafting, I heard a noise and something hit me. I turned and saw a skeleton moving around, trying to shoot me again. I spewed my golden fire breath at him. Nice. The skeleton froze, but not before dropping his bow. I picked it up and realized it was enchanted. Infinite arrows. Sweet. I returned to my base with the supplies and the bow, hoping to upgrade some of my items and the houses. One of the villagers approached me.
Zozo, do you think you could help me with something?
Sure, what is it?
Bradley, and it's about our home. I thought I had gathered everything when we came here, but I left something important there. Would you come with me? I don't feel safe going by myself.
Of course, let's go! On days 40 to 43, Bradley and I ventured back to the village on the plains. We hurried to the house to grab his item. What is it you needed so badly? He rummaged around his room under his bed and then whooped in victory.
Got it!
Is that a paintbrush?
Yeah, it's my lucky paintbrush.
Are you serious?
It's important to me.
I shook my head. What a weird kid. But hey, at least he has it now. All of a sudden, I heard a noise outside. Shh, I think there's someone here. I looked out the window, and sure enough, there was some of Horace's goons rummaging around. But they weren't alone. They were being led by a terrifying yak this time. We tried to sneak out quietly, but Bradley made a noise and they spotted us. Smooth move, Bradley! The goons charged at us and I started to spew golden fire. Within just a few moments, we had nearly taken out all of the goons. The henchman just stood, watching us. Then after a moment, he ran off with the remaining men.
Coward!
We looked around and noticed the goons had dropped a few healing potions before I had frozen them into gold. Nice! Now we have a little bit bigger of a potion stash, just in case.
Sheesh, that was awesome!
Was the paintbrush worth it, Bradley?
Absolutely.
On days 44 to 49, Bradley and I traveled back to the base. Once we arrived, I found a note on my door. Puck the Honorable sent me a message to meet outside my base near the river. It didn't take me long to find him.
I've been doing some research about Horace and his plans. I think that if you are able to create a certain item, you can overpower Horace.
Great! What is it?
An amethyst sword. It's the one thing that will harm Horace, even if he reaches the full extent of his magical powers, and it may just save your life.
What do I need to do?
You'll need to gather 2 amethyst crystals and a stick. That's all you'll need to make it, though I can't promise those crystals won't be guarded by an incredibly dangerous mobs.
Great. Sounds like a walk in the park.
What? You expected saving the world to be easy?
No, I just wish I hadn't been duped by Horace in the first place.
Don't beat yourself up, kid. You'll get the hang of it.
Puck handed me a paper with some instructions on it.
This should help you.
And just like that, he left. Again. I need to tell him it's polite to say your goodbyes. On days 50 to 53, I followed the instructions Puck gave me to find the crystals. It said to go to a cave and consult with the ancient being. I realized that it had led me back to the cave where I had fought the giant spider. As I entered, I noticed that the spider was still there, frozen in gold. He must be the ancient being. I wonder if there's a way I can reverse it. I went up to the spider and tried to shoot an orb at him. Nothing. A fire breath, and also nothing. Then I tried to punch him. Suddenly, he turned back into his normal self. He looked down at me angrily.
How dare you freeze me?
I'm sorry. I was manipulated by the sorcerer to steal your items. But you did steal some of them from the wolf. He softened a little.
I did. I was desperate and needed extra protection. Clearly, it did not work. What do you want?
I was told that you have information about amethyst crystals.
Yes, I was once a guardian of a great multitude of crystals, but I was forced to leave when the cavern was ambushed by an evil warden. It has been a great many years since then.
Can you show me where it is?
I cannot. When I desired to go back, it was no longer there. Some sort of shifting due to magic.
I thanked the spider and left the cave. It was just another dead end. On my way back to the base, I noticed more of Horace's goons fighting a wolf. Hey, that's Lex. Maybe he'll want to help me. I approached as he finished the goons off. Hey, remember me?
Zozo, you're alive!
Yeah, I am. And I'm trying to defeat the sorcerer. I could really use your skills. Would you want to help me?
I don't think I can, Zozo. I'm good at fighting his goons, but he's too powerful. I think you'd be better off on your own.
Before I could even argue, he ran off into the distance. Well, that was underwhelming. Maybe he'll change his mind. On days 54 to 57, I went exploring a little more. I found myself close to where I had found Horace that first time. I wondered if he was still at his house. I decided to investigate. When I got closer, I heard voices.
The master needs some items taken to him. Make sure they get there safely.
It was the henchman I had seen earlier, the Yak! He had a few goons, and he was dragging some chests of things. It seemed like a good opportunity to attack. Hey, coward! The henchman turned toward me.
You just can't get enough, can you?
He sent the goons forward to attack. I maneuvered around them easily, and within a few moments, most of them were gold statues. The henchman got mad. Before I knew it, he attacked me. Ouch! How is he so fast? I felt my heart's dwindling. He slashed at me again, faster than any other human I had encountered. I tried to breathe my golden fire at him, but it was in vain. I need to get out of here. I hurried and slithered away, retreating into the bushes.
Look who's the coward now.
The henchman ran off. I didn't dare follow him. I was too weak and needed to go back home. If I can't defeat just one henchman, how am I supposed to defeat a sorcerer?
He managed to take out a few of your men, Master, but he could not withstand my blows. He is not even close to being ready. Yes, he is weak, but he will get stronger. Just keep attacking. Send out as many men as possible. They're disposable. Will do, Master.
On days 58 to 62, I made it back to my base. I was met with a much-needed surprise.
Zozo, we made you something, sweetie.
My mom led me to the edge of the base. Whoa, is this a statue of me? It was a HYDRA, but it wasn't completely gold. It was more of an orange color.
Actually, it's a statue of your father.
My father?
I wanted to tell you earlier, but I didn't know if you were ready. He died right before you were born. He was trying to protect us. He couldn't wait to meet you, Zozo.
I looked up at the statue. It's amazing.
It's not done yet. We still need some more quartz for the teeth. Would you like to help us?
Of course. I headed to the desert where I had previously seen some ruins made out of quartz and collected those materials for the statue. After giving the quartz to Mom, she quickly added the teeth to the statue, and now it truly looked magnificent. On days 63 to 66, I woke up to someone calling my name. I went outside. It was Lex. Hey, Lex, what's up? I went back to that cave with the spider, and to my surprise, he wasn't a gold statue anymore. Oh yeah, I should have warned you. No harm done. He actually told me that you were looking for a cavern with amethyst crystals in it. I think I might actually know where that is. Really? Show me. Lex led the way to a small desert. We finally arrived at what looked like a rock formation with a door. Great, let's just push open the door and head inside. We tried to push, pull, and roll, but the stone didn't budge. I even tried my golden fire on it. No luck. Maybe there's a special combination or code word? Maybe, but I have no idea what it might be. It was disappointing, but now I knew where it was. At least I could come back to it later. Let's head back. How about you stay with us? You don't have to be alone, Lex. He sighed. I know, I was wrong and scared, but I know you're our best chance at stopping the sorcerer. Thanks for not giving up on me. Of course, that's what friends do. Lex smiled and we headed home. On days 67 to 70, Bradley approached me again.
Hey, Zozo, do you think you could help me with something else?
Is it another paintbrush, Bradley?
No, actually. I wanted to practice shooting with the bow I have. Do you think you could help me with some target practice?
Of course. Where did you have in mind?
There's actually an archery area near my old house. Maybe we can even bring some of the stuff back to the base.
That sounds like a great idea. We headed back toward Bradley's old home. When we got there, we noticed some movement outside the houses. Hey, those are the tortoises I met earlier. They told me to take a hike.
Maybe we should go.
Then I noticed the tortoises were fighting each other over some food. I approached carefully. Hey, friends, remember me?
Ugh, you again. We don't need your help, HYDRA. You're just making things worse for us. The sorcerer and his goons have driven us out of our homes, and now we hardly have food.
The leader came toward me and snapped his teeth. I don't want to hurt you. He snapped at me again, and I had no choice but to spew golden fire at him. After he turned into a statue, I punched him. He quickly came back to life, looking surprised.
Why did you do that?
Like I said, I'm not here to hurt you. In fact, we would love for you to stay at our base. It's safe, and there's plenty of food. There's no need to fight each other.
Thank you, HYDRA. We are in your debt.
On days 71 to 74, we made it back to the base. This time, we were met with an unwanted surprise. My mom rushed out to us.
Zozo, they're attacking the base. We need your help.
I slithered over and saw the yak and his dread knights waiting for me. Hey, you don't belong here! The henchman looked at me and, just like before, attacked in a flash. I still wasn't strong enough, but I knew I needed to protect my friends. Using all of my strength, I let out the largest burst of golden fire I could muster.
Not bad, Hydra, but not good enough. Come and find me when you are ready. I'll be waiting with your precious friend.
And before I knew it, the henchman left. I had managed to statuefy his goons, but he escaped again. Wait, what did he say about a friend? I slithered inside as fast as I could and realized that my mother was nowhere to be found. Mom? Mom! He took her, and I had no idea where she went. I retreated to my house, blind with rage. And then I started to cry. This was all too much. How was I ever supposed to defeat anyone like this? I stayed in my house for a while, not letting anyone in. Finally, after a long time, I heard a knock at the door.
Zozo, it's Lex! We have something to show you!
I reluctantly left the house, not wanting anyone to see me like this. But they needed someone, and I needed to be strong for them. Lex showed me that they had fixed up the crops, bred the animals, and improved the security by building some walls. Great! Thanks, Lex.
That's not all!
He turned me toward the statue of my dad, and I realized there was a smaller version next to it. It was of my mom.
You'll get her back, Zozo. We believe in you.
I didn't know what to say. I just nodded.
And you are sure he is getting stronger? Yes, Master. He is almost to his full form. Excellent! Then the plan is working. The mother will eventually bring him to us. Good work. Thank you, Master.
On days 75 to 78, Puck the Honorable left me another note. I met him at our customary spot next to the river.
Hello again, Zozo.
What do you want, Puck?
Someone's in a hurry. I have important information and a gift for you. I hear you are having some trouble with Horace's henchmen. I have some important information. His whereabouts. He actually lives very close to Horace. It's a bit hush-hush, but I have my ways.
He handed me a map, and I went to grab it.
Be careful, Zozo. You don't know what you'll find there.
Give me the paper, Puck.
Do not lose yourself along the way. Remember what you are fighting for.
I know what I'm fighting for, Puck. My mom has been taken by those creeps, and I intend on saving her. Then I'm going to put the henchmen and Horace in their rightful place. Puck handed me the paper.
Good boy. Now go get your mother back.
On days 79 to 84, I raced to the henchman's house. If there was a chance he had my mom, I was going to find her and defeat him once and for all. I followed the directions and found myself outside of a large wall. Inside, it was a modest-looking house. This is where the henchman stays? Quite a cozy home he made for himself. I snuck around to see if he was inside, but I didn't see anything. Suddenly, I felt a gust of wind. The yak was standing right behind me.
Come to retrieve your mommy?
Coming after me was one thing, but involving my mom was a step too far.
Your mother gave you everything, and you still can't save her.
I'm going to beat you, Yak, for her! I felt a power grow within me, and I leveled up into a fully grown Hydra with 50 hearts. I got bigger, stronger, and even gained the Claw Strike ability.
No, this isn't what was supposed to happen. Horace promised me I wouldn't be defeated by you.
Be careful who you trust, henchman. And with a swipe of my claws, I defeated him. He burst into golden sparks and was gone.
Zozo!
I looked and saw my mother coming toward me. She'd managed to escape. Mom, did he hurt you?
I'm fine. I'm so proud of you. Look at how strong you are. You look so much like your father did. I'm so glad you're okay.
Come on, Mom. Let's get you back home.
Oh, and before we go, I found this while I was imprisoned. I figured you might want it.
It was a golden key. On days 85 to 89, my mom and I arrived back at the base. Everyone was so happy to see my mom, and they ushered us over to the statues.
We almost finished it while you were gone, but we wanted you to put on the finishing touch.
Freddy handed me a few glowstone blocks, which I added to my dad's statue, completing his fire breath. It was perfect. And I have more amazing news, Freddy! The golden key my mom found at the henchman's base. I think it's literally the key to getting into the Amethyst Crystal Cave. The henchman and Horace must have known that the Amethyst sword could foil his grand plan. That's why he had the key to unlock the cavern. I've got to get over there now! I rushed out of the base toward the desert. As I arrived at the door, I felt my heart leap. This is it. It's finally coming together. I used the golden key to open the door. Here I go. I made my way down the dark tunnel, which eventually opened up into a cave system. Inside were hundreds of glowing amethyst crystals, all being watched over by a warden. This isn't going to be easy. I got right behind it, and before it knew what was happening, I let out a large burst of golden fire. He let out a terrible scream, but he didn't turn into a statue. I took a swipe at him with my claws instead. This time, he screamed in agony. I kept swiping, avoiding his blows as best as I could. My hearts were dwindling, but after just a few more moments, the warden was gone. Yes! I hurried and collected as many amethyst crystals as I could hold before hurrying out of the cavern. Time to end this, Horus. On days 90 to 94, I exited the cavern, blinking in the sunlight.
Nice to see you again, little Hydra.
I looked and saw Horus standing right in front of me. I was about to swipe him into oblivion when his magic froze me in place.
Please, none of that. I just want to talk.
I stared at him. What could you possibly want to talk to me about? You've gone out of your way to torture me.
Don't you see, Hydra? I have strengthened you. You have become the golden Hydra of the prophecy, all thanks to me.
You had nothing to do with it.
Oh, don't even think for a minute that you would have accomplished anything without me. I made sure that you had difficulties so that you could learn. I made sure that you would eventually get the potion that would bring you to full power.
You sabotaged your own henchman?
He was disposable at best. But think of what we can do together, little Hydra. We can rule this land together. Of course, it'll need to be destroyed before it can be built back up. But we can accomplish that if you follow me.
Never.
This is your last chance. Watch the world burn around you before I possess your mind or willingly serve me.
I hissed at him.
Very well.
Somehow, Horus made all my amethysts that I'd worked hard and suffered to collect all disappear.
Be sure to be at your best by the full moon, little Hydra. In the meantime, enjoy my wrath.
I heard Horus laughing, and then it all went dark. On days 95 to 97, I woke up to pitch black. Where am I? Horus must have buried me underground. I looked at what I assumed was up and started to dig. It wasn't too deep, but by the time I saw sunlight, I was exhausted. I'm getting really tired of him. I tried to catch my breath, but then I noticed a note on the ground next to me. It read,
"Say goodbye to your honorable friend."
My blood turned cold as I raced toward Puck's dungeon. No, please don't let me be too late. When I got there, the whole place was demolished. I looked around, hoping to find anything, and I heard a groan from beneath some rocks. Puck! I moved the rubble and saw him on the ground. He was in really bad shape.
I guess Horus figured out who my sources were.
You're going to be okay, Puck. Let me help you up. Puck coughed.
Don't worry about me, Zozo. Go, protect your mom and your friends. He's heading to your base next.
And with one last breath, Puck the Honorable passed. I let out a giant roar as I mourned my friend, but I had to get to my base. I needed to stop Horus before he caused any more destruction. On day 98, I arrived too late. What was once my base was now in ruins. I ran around frantically. Mom, Lex, Bradley, Freddy! I didn't hear anyone answer. I slumped down and was about to give up when I heard a small voice.
Zozo?
I looked up and saw my mom limping towards me. Freddy limped alongside her. Mom! Freddy! Where is everyone else?
A lot of them didn't make it out, Zozo. Bradley and Lex managed to run and hide with me, but nobody else was fast enough.
We're lucky to be alive.
I let out another loud roar in agony. Puck was gone. All the villagers and tortoises were gone. I had tried so hard to protect everyone, and I had failed. I felt my whole body slump.
Hey, everything is going to be fine. Do you know why?
Why?
You are the Golden Hydra, and you are going to put a stop to Horus and his destruction.
Mom slipped me something. It was a key.
Horus dropped this before he left. It must be to his base.
I looked at the key in shock.
You are going to get back your amethyst crystals, finish the amethyst sword, and you will put a stop to all of this. Promise?
Promise. On day 99, I headed to Horus's base. It had massive black walls, and inside there was a huge tower raising high into the sky. I carefully entered the front wall gate. To my surprise, the courtyard was completely empty. I explored a bit and located a back door, probably for the goons, and I used the key to get inside. Freddy, you're the best. I snuck up the passageway and went to open the door to the main chamber. A Dread Knight spotted me immediately. It's the Golden Hydra. I quickly took him out. So much for being stealthy. I was a Hydra after all, a golden one at that. It was hard to keep a low profile. I opened the chamber, and to my surprise, only Horus stood inside, smiling at me.
Did you really think it would be that easy, Hydra? But at last, you're a day early. What exactly was your plan here?
Give me back the amethyst crystals, and nobody has to get hurt, Horus.
No.
I was prepared this time. I smacked him back with my claws and grabbed for the crystals. Before he knew it, I was down the passageway.
Stop that, Hydra!
I made it back to my base and hurriedly crafted the amethyst sword out of the 2 amethyst crystals and a stick. It was time to defeat Horus once and for all. On day 100, I made my way back to Horus's base. Perfect, a dramatic ending, just like I wanted. Horus was waiting for me outside. Are you ready for your reign of terror to finally end, Horus?
You're exactly where I want you, Zozo. When this battle is over, I'll take control of your body and use you as just another tool to take over this world.
Not if me and the amethyst sword have anything to say about it. This time, I wasn't playing around. He fired a magical energy blast at me, but I was so strong now, I tanked it and ran right in.
Oh, no, I may have made an error here.
But the time for talk was over. I ran in and hit him with the amethyst sword again and again, weakening him a little more each time. He unleashed his guards on me, but they were taken care of quickly. Many sword swings later, when Horus was on the edge of defeat, I stopped attacking and stepped back for a moment.
You can't win! I am an all-powerful sorcerer!
Silence is golden, Horus! With one blast of my golden spit, Horus was turned into a harmless golden statue forevermore. At long last, the creatures of the overworld can breathe easy again. On day 1, I spawned in by the remains of a crashed ship as the imposter from Among Us. Wow, it'll be hard to tell me apart from a crew member, even though I'm just a baby imposter. It's a good thing I survived the crash, but I couldn't stay relaxed for long. A soul vulture walked up to me, and it looked hungry. Guess I'm about to find out if imposters have souls. The soul vulture looked like it was about to attack me, but it was suddenly hit with an energy blast and exploded. I turned to see who fired the blast and saw a red Mungus captain walking towards me. Oh, thank goodness, you saved my life, Captain.
Enough blubbering, recruit. We lost enough good men when we crashed onto this planet. Do you know what happened to the imposter?
He knew about me. I needed to stay in character, and that meant I needed to trick him. The imposter? I bet it was destroyed when the ship crashed.
Unlikely. The imposter is too crafty for that. Listen, we have 100 days of supplies. In that time, we need to rebuild the ship, destroy the imposter, and get out of here. Now make yourself useful and go find the other crew members.
Sir, yes, sir. As I walked away, I thought about how crafty and tough the Red Captain seemed. If I couldn't outsmart him in the next 100 days, I'd be toast. On day 2, I left the Red Captain to his own devices and ventured out to search for a solution to my problems. I've only got 10 hearts. Something as dangerous as the Red Captain and his Mungus crew would eat me alive the way I am right now. Speaking of eating me alive, while I was walking along, I was approached by a group of vicious tarantula hawks. This planet has some really dangerous animals. Without any weapons or abilities, there was no way I could fight off against these monster bugs and survive. I ran off as fast as I could until I'd lost them. As I was regaining my strength, I saw another Mungus crew member approaching. This one was blue.
Are you a friendly?
Yes, Red Captain sent me out on a recon mission. With that, the blue crew member seemed to relax and approach.
Good. You can't be too careful these days. It's possible that the imposter survived the crash. I'm Corporal Blue. Who are you?
I'm Zozo. Awaiting further orders, sir.
Then follow me. Another survivor set up an encampment near here. He outranks us, so we should go see him.
Sir, yes, sir. Lead the way. Corporal Blue started walking, and I followed him, relieved that he bought my story. On day 3, I followed Corporal Blue over to the encampment he told me about. A tough-looking orange mungus was waiting for us next to the fire.
This another survivor, Corporal?
Sir, yes, sir.
Well, he's not much to look at, but after the crash, I suppose we have to take what we can get. I dispatched people across the surface of this planet to search for more. I'm Sergeant Orange. What do they call you?
I'm Zozo, sir. Basic recruit. I'm not very strong yet, but I'll always do my best.
Heartwarming. You need to get yourself some weapons and set up another encampment. Stat! There's safety in numbers. We need to root out and destroy the imposter as soon as we can.
But Sergeant, if you don't mind me asking, why does this imposter even want to hurt us?
That's classified, son. Just follow your orders and start building the base and equipment. We have 97 days to get off this mudball of a planet, and we have no time to waste.
With that, Corporal Blue and I headed off to work on Sergeant Orange's demands. They were still none the wiser that I was the imposter among them. From day 4 to day 5, Corporal Blue and I found a nice place to start working on our base.
First and foremost, recruit, we're gonna need a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Start busting down some trees.
I'll get right on it, sir. After some lumberjacking, I built myself a crafting bench and a wooden pickaxe. Then I mined into the ground and collected enough stone to build myself a stone pickaxe and stone sword.
Good work, soldier. Now start building that base.
Using the rest of the wood and stone, I started building a base. It was basic at first, with 2 separate rooms for the Corporal Blue and I.
This is looking good, recruit. But we don't have time to rest. Some hostile creatures are approaching. Go stop them.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran off and intercepted some tarantula hawks, and this time I had a stone sword to fight them off. It didn't take long to defeat them, and that gave me the XP to upgrade. I now had 30 hearts, and I also unlocked an energy blast cannon. This is gonna come in handy later. From day 6 to day 8, I went exploring, hoping to find some time away from the Mungus crew members so I could figure out some kind of plan. To be the true imposter, I need to outsmart and defeat all the crew members. I'm not strong enough yet, and I need to gain their trust. But while wandering along, I happened upon a green mungus being chased by some bubble parasites. Maybe if I helped him, they'd trust me more. Don't worry, fellow crew member, I'm coming to help you. I ran in with my stone sword and defeated the bubble parasites, saving the green crew member.
Wow, you really saved my bacon there. I was worried my goose was cooked.
All these food metaphors are making me hungry. Want to come back to my base?
I would, but Red Captain sent me out here to destroy the bubble monster. But I couldn't even defeat its bubble parasites.
Then let's go together. Maybe we can defeat it with our powers combined. So the 2 of us went off to defeat the bubble monster. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the green mungus crew member until we saw the bubble monster wandering around. It looked way scarier than the bubble parasites. I can see why you had trouble fighting this thing. Let me see what I can do. I ran in and fired an energy blast against the bubble monster, but that only seemed to make it angry. It ran towards me, and considering how strong it was, I knew that all I could do was run away. I met back up with the green crew member. You're right, that bubble monster is way too tough to take on now. Let's head back to my base. We'll pool our resources and take this monster on later.
You seem to really know what you're doing. I'll follow you. Let's go.
So I started leading the crew member back to my base, having gained the trust of another mungus. From day 11 to day 12, I returned back to my base with the green crew member and started building a new floor and a new room. The more people I could have around at any given time, the less anyone would suspect of me being the imposter. By the time the new room was done, the green crew member approached me with some exciting news.
I've been working on another section of the base. I figured we might need our storage areas ready for weapons and equipment.
That's excellent, fellow crew member. Let's go take a look. Green had built an excellent storage room, perfect for supplying what was left of the Mungus military. They were only going to get stronger as time went on. I need to make sure all of my own tools are up to date. I found a mine where I could dig up some old iron ore and took it back to the base. I began to smelt that iron until I had enough to make an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Then I returned to see how Green was doing, making sure to act natural. Green, just between you and me, do you have any idea what the Red Captain is planning for us?
It goes above my pay grade, comrade.
but I do know that Red Captain is calling in reinforcements, and he wants us to acquire heavy weaponry and supplies for some kind of secret mission.
Fair enough. I guess I'll work on buffing out our supplies. I spent the rest of the day building a paddock to store some sheep in, and then herding some sheep into it, wondering what exactly the Red Captain had planned for us all. From day 13 to day 15, Corporal Blue came to give me some new orders.
Recruit, I want you to go out and search for other lost crew members. The more people we can bring in to help us build our encampments, the better.
Sir, yes, sir. I went out into the further reaches of this strange new planet, pretending that I was doing exactly what Corporal Blue wanted, while I was secretly planning on sabotaging it all. That's what being the imposter is all about. And while I was out searching, I ran into a pair of munguses.
Hey, you're on our side, right?
Yeah, but nobody seems to tell me what the mission is. Do you know?
That's on a need-to-know basis, kid, and you don't need to know.
Then I guess that's all we have to say to each other. I shot one of the munguses with an energy blast, and then pulled out my new iron sword to take on the other. Soon enough, both were defeated. Looks like I'm really living up to the imposter mantle. That's when I noticed that one of the munguses dropped some kind of scientific healing serum. Don't mind if I do. I drank the health serum and found myself getting bigger and stronger. I now had 60 hearts and the ability to shapeshift. This is gonna make me a better imposter than ever before. From day 16 to day 19, I continued searching after defeating the pair of patrolling munguses. I'm glad nobody is around. If anyone saw me fighting those munguses, they'd know I'm a fake immediately. While walking around, I found a book on the ground. It seemed like it was some kind of military journal from one of the munguses stranded on the planet. I picked it up and took a look inside.
This crash has seriously affected the timeline of the mission. We lost half our crew, and the rest is scattered all around the planet. We need to find and destroy the imposter that brought us down. Once we've gotten rid of him, we can continue the extermination plans.
Extermination plans? I'm beginning to think these munguses don't have the kindest intentions here. Before I could think too hard about what was happening, I was ambushed by another mungus. He must have seen me taking out those other crew members. Thankfully, with my iron sword, it wasn't hard to defeat him. I just needed to go back to my base now and ensure that nobody suspected a thing. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to my base, covering my tracks to make sure nobody knew about my conflicts with the other munguses. On the way back, I fought a gang of bubble parasites, which were even easier to defeat than they were before. I'm really getting into the hang of this whole imposter thing. I arrived back at my base and smelted the rest of my iron to create some iron armor, which would improve my defenses against attackers of any kind. I finally felt ready to go and settle an old score. I went out to battle the bubble monster that seemed unbeatable a few weeks ago, but with my new sword and armor, it didn't take me long to bring him down. That's another win for Zozo!
Good work, son, but we're only just getting started.
I turned and saw the Red Captain was approaching. I waved to him, trying to hide my nervousness. Red Captain, what a lovely surprise!
Not all surprises are lovely, Zozo. Case in point, this situation with the imposter, he's undermining our authority. I saw that a few of my soldiers went missing. He must be behind it.
Is this all delaying the extermination plan?
Because I like you, I'm not gonna ask how you know about that. But tread carefully, Zozo. You never know when something dangerous is just around the corner.
From day 23 to day 26, I returned to my base to deliver the good news to the Green Mungus recruit. I did it! I finally beat the bubble monster.
That's great! I knew you could do it!
Thank you for having faith in me.
Of course! Your strength is my strength, comrade!
With that, I left the base and wandered for a bit to clear my head. I wanted to tell him the truth, but I couldn't. I had to keep the fact that I was an imposter to myself until I could figure out what to do about the extermination plan. I found a book containing the fire aspect enchantment that would really boost my sword power. This is amazing! I can use this to enchant my sword and give it the ability to set targets on fire. I rushed back to my base and used the book to enchant my sword, and some of my remaining iron to fix it up. When I was finished, the Green Mungus came over to talk to me again.
Zozo, while you were out, I built an additional paddock to contain any more sheep or other livestock you might find. I hope this proves useful.
That's great! You work really fast. I'm impressed. Looking at the awesome upgrades to the paddock that the green recruit had made, part of me just hoped he wasn't in on whatever evil plan was afoot. From day 27 to day 31, I went back out to explore the Red Rock Highlands. While I was looking around, I was approached by a group of munguses. Uh-oh, I hope they're not onto me.
Hey, you're the guy who got rid of the bubble monster, right?
Yeah, I am. I was pretty relieved that was their question.
If you're that good of a fighter, we definitely want to stick with you. Have a safe place that we can hang out?
Sure thing. You can stay at my base for as long as you want. I sent the munguses back to my base and continued exploring. I gathered some sand to make some glass in the furnace, then headed back to my base to use it. I used the glass to add some new windows to the base so I would be able to see outside whenever I was hanging out inside. As I finished adding the windows, the Blue Mungus Corporal approached me.
Recruit, our sergeant needs our assistance. He is currently under attack, and we need to get there and help out immediately.
Sir, yes, sir. From day 32 to day 35, I followed the Blue Mungus Corporal to where the Orange Mungus Sergeant was being attacked. I saw a group of tarantula hawks fighting with the sergeant, and I sprang into action. I used my newly enchanted sword to attack the tarantula hawks with fire, but there were so many of them. While I was focused on fighting one group of them, another group managed to take down the sergeant before I could save him.
No!
The Mungus Corporal rushed over, but it was too late to do anything to help the sergeant. He was gone. I'm so sorry about the sergeant, sir.
As am I, but sadly, that is what happens on the battlefield sometimes. We must press on.
It's still sad, though.
You're a curious man, Recruit. Sometimes I'd swear you don't act like a mungus at all.
I started to get a little nervous when he said that.
It's refreshing. Thank you. No time to stand here talking. We'd better get moving.
From day 36 to day 39, I went back to the meadow. Before I had a chance to explore very much, a green mungus recruit came running up to me.
Zozo, help! The Red Captain sent me to clear this area of hostile forces, but I'm not strong enough to beat this Ender Creeper. If I get too close, I'm scared it'll blow up and take me with it. Could you come fight it with me?
Sure thing, let's go! The green mungus and I sprinted over to the area where the Ender Creeper was still, well, creeping around. Taste the energy blast, you creepy creeper! I shot an energy blast at the Ender Creeper. Then I attacked with my enchanted sword and burned him up. Before long, that Ender Creeper was toast, literally.
You really are an amazing fighter. Thank you so much for your help. We'll definitely be able to use you for the special mission.
Right, the special mission. Which mission was that again?
No, the Captain's special secret mission. The one dealing with the imposter home planet. Don't tell me you haven't heard about it.
Oh, that plan! No, I totally heard about it. After the green mungus ran off, I was left alone to wonder what he meant. What could the captain be planning to do with my home planet? From day 40 to day 43, I headed back to my base. I couldn't stop thinking about what the green mungus had told me. The imposter home planet. I guess that's where I'm from too. What's the captain going to do to it? I wish I could get him to tell me about the extermination plan. I get the feeling it's nothing good. I didn't have time to ask myself any more questions because when I got to my base, the Blue Mungus Corporal was waiting for me.
Recruit, I've been hard at work in your absence. Take a look at this new guard tower, which will add a necessary line of defense to the base.
Whoa, that looks awesome. I feel safer already.
I'm pleased to hear that. I want to invite additional recruits to the base so that they can take shelter here and avoid potential attacks by the imposter.
Sounds like a great idea. More munguses arrived at the base and I showed them to their room. There's plenty of space for everyone. Next, the mungus I met earlier came up to talk to me.
Zozo, we need your help again! The Red Captain is requesting as many of us as possible to go to his coordinates and help him with a special task. We could use your fighting skills. Will you join us?
Sure. Hey, maybe he'll tell us more about that secret project. From day 44 to day 49, myself and the different munguses went in different directions to go and meet up with the Red Captain. We went different ways, so if the imposter ambushed either of us, at least one group would survive, although he didn't know I was the imposter all along. Or did he? When I arrived at the Red Captain's coordinates, I got a nasty surprise. The captain was there alone, waiting for me. What had happened to all the others? Red Captain, the munguses said you wanted to see me. You needed as many troops as possible. What's happening?
Tonight, we're finally gonna destroy the imposter, young recruit.
Oh, have you found him? Where is he?
Simple. He's standing right in front of me. Now don't be silly, son. If you move any step in any direction, I'll vaporize you with a well-placed energy blast.
But I'm not the imposter, sir. I swear.
Don't waste your last breaths on lies, imposter. I've been watching you all along, following your movements carefully. You think you're slick? I know exactly what you are.
At this point, I was terrified. I was frozen in place with no idea what to do. So are you going to destroy me then?
Thankfully, I won't need to make the effort. Something special survived the ship's crash. A security golem, perfectly designed for destroying sneaky little imposters like you.
The Red Captain walked away, and in walked the terrifying security golem. My secret was out, and now the robot was going to give me a real run for my money. I fired an energy blast at him, and he was completely unfazed. Time for me to see how strong I really am. From day 50 to day 53, the security golem began its onslaught. It fired its laser at me, and I barely managed to dodge. As the robot ran in, I unleashed the flame-enchanted iron sword on him, striking him again and again until the flame effect burned through his armor and ate away at his circuits. Soon enough, after a hard fight, the security golem collapsed, defeated. When it disappeared, it dropped 3 things: a tricked-out crossbow, arrows, and a data log. A data log that just happened to contain the true details of the Red Captain's extermination plan.
We've been at war with those pesky imposters for decades now, but this time we're gonna deal with them once and for all. If we can send a big enough Mungus army with enough heavy artillery at their disposal, we can wipe out the entire imposter planet once and for all and end this pesky, expensive war.
I was horrified by what I saw. So the extermination plan was to exterminate my entire home planet? That's awful. I need to put a stop to this myself. But after the Red Captain uncovered my secret, I had no idea who was still on my side. I guess I just need to find out. From day 54 to day 57, I started heading back to my base. On the way there, I ran into a gang of munguses loyal to the Red Captain.
Well, 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 if it isn't the imposter. I always knew that you were a little sus. He told us to wait here in case you survived the security droid. The Red Captain always thinks of everything.
Yeah, including trying to exterminate all of my people. That must be why I was sent to sabotage your mission. You were going to do something pure evil.
There is no evil in war, Zozo. Only winners and losers, and the winners get to decide who was right all along.
But I wasn't going to listen to these munguses excuse their evil boss's actions. I pulled out my new crossbow and expertly sent a bolt at each of them. They dropped a strength potion, which I grabbed and added to my inventory. You never know when you'll need this. I returned to my base and immediately ran up to the Corporal Blue. I had no idea if the Red Captain had already told him the truth, but there was only one way to find out.
Zozo, you look exhausted. Is everything okay?
Perfect. He didn't know. I could still spin this. Corporal Blue, I found out some terrible news. Red Captain was the imposter all along. He was infiltrated before we even got into the spaceship. He's been planning against us all along.
That's diabolical, but also the perfect cover. Who would ever suspect the captain? It's just you and me now, Zozo. We only have each other.
At least now I knew I still had Corporal Blue on my side. But for how long? From day 58 to day 62, relieved that Corporal Blue hadn't caught on to the truth about me yet, I continued working on my base. I introduced more sheep to my paddock just to make sure we'd always have more than we needed. But wool wasn't the only thing I wanted to get my hands on. I returned again to the underground mine, going down deeper than I ever have before. After breaking through stone for hours on end, I was finally able to collect plenty of diamonds. These are exactly what I need to make myself stronger, offensively and defensively. The Red Captain would probably appreciate that if he didn't hate my guts. I went back to my base and created a full set of diamond armor, a diamond pickaxe, and a diamond sword. This is more like it! Now that I was fully armed and armored, Corporal Blue approached me yet again, this time with some interesting news.
Zozo, come over here. I've created a valuable new base addition. It's a planning room where we can discuss our next moves against the imposter in private.
I went over and took a look at the new room. It was an amazing creation that clearly came from extensive military experience. I can't even imagine a better place to plan, sir.
Good, because we're going to need to do a lot of planning. If the imposter has truly taken the role of the Red Captain, we're both in grave danger.
From day 63 to day 66, I met with Corporal Blue in the planning room so that we could come up with our next step.
If my intelligence is correct, I believe there may be some important information about the imposter, or rather, the Red Captain, in a nearby area. I need you to be my eyes and ears, Zozo.
Will you go inspect the area?
You got it, sir. I'll head there right now. I traveled to the fungal patch immediately, and I found a grove full of huge mushrooms. Looks like there's a fungus among us.
That's a pretty good joke, but I'm afraid the plight of my people is no laughing matter.
I turned around and saw a mushroom lord standing there. I grabbed my sword just in case he decided to try and attack me.
Have you come to invade our home, to kick me and my people out of the place we've lived for years?
No, I don't want to kick anyone out of anywhere. I'm trying to stop the Red Captain from hurting anyone.
If this is true, then you and I have something in common. You look like them, but you behave differently. Perhaps we could be friends, and you could aid me in defending my fellow mushroom people.
Definitely. What can I do to help?
There are enemy forces nearby attempting to drive us out of the area so they can set up a base here. Help me defeat them and protect my home.
You got it. I'm Zozo, by the way.
My name is Lord Chungus.
From day 63 to day 70, I followed Lord Chungus to a nearby house where a bunch of munguses were attacking.
Hey, come help us get rid of these mushrooms.
No can do. They deserve to keep their home. They were here first.
What are you? Some kind of traitor? Get him!
The munguses rushed at me, but I hit them with an energy blast. Then I attacked with my sword, and it wasn't too long before I had defeated all of them. I looked around just to make sure no munguses were watching me. Phew, the coast is clear. Everyone here should be safe now, Lord Chungus.
Thank you for your help, Zozo. The mushroom people will tell your story for generations to come.
That's really nice. Thanks. It's good to feel like I'm actually helping. I was starting to worry I might be the bad guy here.
Not bad at all. You're a hero.
From day 71 to day 74, I decided to keep exploring, and I wandered over towards my base. As I walked, I spotted a note on a tree. What's this say? It says to make sure and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more adventures like this one. And don't forget to search Zozo to find more awesome Minecraft videos. Nice note. When I was close to home, I started looking around for useful materials. Before I could find anything, the Red Captain surprised me from behind.
There you are, imposter. I knew I'd find you skulking around here somewhere. You may have survived the security droid, but that was just luck. This time, you won't be so lucky.
I know what your plan is. You're trying to destroy the imposter home planet. That's terrible. People are just trying to live there, and they're not bothering anyone.
False! They aren't bothering me, but bothering all of us. Their very existence is a threat, as is yours. But you won't trouble me for much longer.
He attacked me, and I tried to attack back with my newly upgraded diamond sword, but it barely left a scratch on him. Uh-oh, he's still way too strong for me. I need to get out of here. I fired an energy blast to distract the Red Captain, and then I ran out of there as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I ran all the way back to my base. I was scared that the Red Captain would follow me, but I managed to get back safe and sound. I was way too close for comfort. I can't believe I had to run off instead of fighting him. Such a disappointment to my people. I went to my room to be alone and think about what I could do to fight better next time. After a little while, Corporal Blue came in to see me.
Recruit, I know you're feeling disappointed, but now is not the time to get lost in despair. Come, take a look at this. I added an armory to the base so we can store additional weapons and be prepared for anything.
I followed him towards the new high-tech armory that he had built. Oh wow, this does look really awesome. And you building it means you really believe in me. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, I also have this growth serum for you. Drink it and find the strength you require.
Sir, yes, sir. I drank the growth serum and felt myself getting stronger. My hearts increased to 100, and I also felt like I could take on the world with my newfound strength. This is just what I needed. From day 79 to day 84, I went back to the orchard to see if the Red Captain was there. With my new strength, I had a feeling I would do much better this time. But when I got there, he was nowhere to be found. There were some tarantula hawks lurking around though, and I tested out my new strength on them. They were so much easier to defeat this time around. I'm getting so much better at this. Awesome! A skulk scorpion saw me fight the tarantula hawks and came over to talk to me.
Yo, that was pretty cool. You some kind of hero or something?
I hope so.
Sure seems like it. What's your name, hero?
Zozo.
I like your energy, Zozo. I've got this thing. I've been waiting for the right person to give it to. And I think that person might be you. Here, take these shark-tooth arrows.
Oh, thanks. I can use these with my crossbow.
Nice. Get you on the flip side, Z-Man.
From day 85 to day 89, I went back to my base to show Corporal Blue my new shark-tooth arrow. But when I got there, I saw a bunch of munguses attacking the base.
That'll show him. That's what happens to imposters. Yeah.
Hey, stop that!
Look, there he is. Let's get him.
Not if I get you first. I attacked the munguses with my new and improved strength.
Yikes, he's strong. Let's get out of here.
Not so fast. I ran after the munguses, but along the way, I saw a pigorus that looked really upset. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I need some help! I lost my favorite book somewhere around here, but I can't find it!
Let me see if I can find it. I looked around, and I found the book. I took it back to the pigorus.
Thank you! I wish I could give you something in return, but I don't have anything. Those munguses took everything I have.
Don't worry about it. I'm happy to help. Did you see what way they went?
Yes, they went that way, where the shuttle is.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the mungus's tail to the new shuttle, the base that the Red Captain was making to escape the planet. I don't want to get too close. If I do, then the Red Captain's guards will come running out to get me. I'll just focus on that group of munguses that attacked my base. I watched the munguses all go inside, and a member of their group I hadn't seen before came out of the shuttle. That robot golem, he must have been behind the attack. The robot golem spotted me and ran toward me.
I sure was. The Red Captain sent me. I'm his right-hand man, and I'm going to make sure you don't cause him any more trouble. Prepare to be destroyed, Zozo.
Uh-oh, guess it's time for a fight. I fired an energy blast to start, but it didn't have any effect at all. Next, I tried my sword, but he didn't seem to be hurt by that either. This guy's really tough. This is gonna be my hardest fight yet. I decided to drink my strength potion and push forwards. From day 95 to day 97, I continued my fight with the robot golem. He was really tough, the toughest enemy I'd fought so far. For a little while there, I thought I might be a goner. Oh no you don't, I have a planet to save. I thought about all the imposters that would be lost if I didn't save them, and I summoned the strength to defeat the robot golem. When I beat him, I noticed that he dropped a book on the ground. Hey, what's this? I picked it up. These look like the access codes. Wait a second, I bet these are the access codes to the Red Captain's base. With these, I can get inside and surprise him. That might help me win. But I wasn't ready to just run there all of a sudden. I need to get ready if I'm going to go into the captain's base. I'll only get one shot at this, so I'll need to be as strong and as prepared as possible. Back to the base! On day 98, I headed back to my base to prepare for my big battle against the Red Captain. I've only got a couple days left before he tries to exterminate my home planet. I've got to work fast. As I got to work practicing my fighting, the Blue Corporal came up to talk to me.
Zozo, I have to confess something to you. I know that you're not who you say you are. I know you're the imposter.
You do? Are you going to try to destroy me?
No, I'm not. I've looked into what the Red Captain has planned, and that's not what I signed on for. I don't want to be part of destroying a planet full of creatures who aren't doing anything wrong. So even if it goes against everything I thought I knew, I will still stand with you. I'm counting on you to defeat the Red Captain, Zozo. Not just to save your people, but to restore honor to us all, to remind me what it means to be among us.
I will definitely do my best. Thank you, sir.
Oh, one more thing. Take this potion of strength. You'll need it before the final battle.
I took the potion and drank it, and I felt the strength coursing through me. I was finally ready! On day 99, I traveled toward the Red Captain's shuttle. As I did, I passed the pigorus who sent me to find his book.
Thank you again for what you did, Zozo. It really made my day. Whatever you do next, I know you'll do a great job.
Hey, thanks. I continued on my way until I finally reached the shuttle. There were a bunch of mungus guards stationed outside, way too many for me to try and take on at once. Oh no, what should I do now?
How about assistance from a fun guy?
I turned to see the Mushroom Lord standing behind me. Lord Chungus, you came to help.
I certainly did. Now I'll handle these miscreants out here. You head on inside and unseat the tyrant Red Captain. It will be an honor to fight by your side, Zozo.
You too! Lord Chungus rushed in and started attacking the Munguses. And while Lord Chungus kept the guards busy, I put in the access codes and used them to open the door to the shuttle. Then I ran inside. On day 100, I entered the Red Captain's lair to finally confront him once and for all. I'm back, Captain. Come out and face me.
Imposter, it's time to finally face your fate. I will happily be your judge, jury, and executioner.
You think you're so much stronger than me, but you aren't. I'm going to take you down. I drew my sword and attacked. He dodged my hit, but I didn't give up. I got some distance between us and got out my crossbow and new shark-tooth arrows. I fired an arrow at the Red Captain and it hit.
It's too late. I'm gonna exterminate your planet, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Liar! I'm going to stop you! I fired another arrow and it hit, but he was still up. He came at me and attacked, but I dodged.
If I don't destroy you, one of the others will. Everyone knows what you are now.
And everyone knows which you are too, a villain! He came at me and hit me hard, but I didn't fall down. I kept going. I fired an energy blast and finished him off with my sword. Finally, the Red Captain was defeated. I can't believe it. It's finally over. I hope that Corporal Blue was able to tell the other Munguses what was going on, but at least my planet will be safe. When I made it back to my base, everyone had come back. After they learned Red Captain's plan, they realized he wasn't someone that they wanted to follow. With him out of the way, imposters and Munguses could finally coexist in peace. On day 1, I spawned in as a Pokemon Creeper.
Creeper.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried for a second I'd only be able to say my own name. That takes some of the sting off being a baby with 5 hearts. I checked my inventory and found that I had a Pokedex guidebook. This would help me recognize all the other Pokemon I encountered. I looked at my surroundings. I was in some kind of forest. Not quite the Kanto region, but I could still explore. Further into the forest, among some tall grass, I discovered some more creeper Pokemon, just like me.
Creeper.
Oh, I guess you guys aren't so talkative. That's fine. I'm sure I can find a trainer who will talk to me. But instead of a friendly Pokemon trainer, instead, a really scary bug-type Pokemon called a Deathworm popped out of the ground. Let's get out of here, guys!
Creeper.
We scattered off into the forest to avoid the Deathworm. I hid out behind some trees for the rest of the night. On day 2, I ventured out of my hiding spot, convinced that the Deathworm was gone. I hope I don't run into one of those again. Guess it isn't easy being a creeper Pokemon, but at least I wasn't alone in being a creeper Pokemon. While I was wandering around the Forgotten Forest, I found an evolved creeper Pokemon. Oh wow, is that what I'm gonna look like when I evolve? I couldn't be more excited.
Creeper.
Well, even if I'm a baby creeper Pokemon, at least I can talk. But I couldn't stand around for long. A deadly fire-type Pokemon, the Cockatrice, came out of the trees and attacked. It breathed a jet of fire onto my new evolved creeper friend, destroying him in an instant. And if it could do that to an evolved creeper, I'd be in real trouble. I ran away as fast as I could. Later, I arrived in the lush red desert, far, far away from the Cockatrice and the Deathworm. Here, I could maybe build myself a home. Let's get building. I found some trees and knocked them down, collecting enough wood to make myself a wooden pickaxe and a wooden sword. These are pretty useless, but I guess everyone has got to start somewhere. With my extra wood, I started building my own wooden base to give me shelter from the elements. It felt nice to finally sleep indoors for once. On day 3, I went out to the meadows, wondering if I could beat some more Pokemon who wanted to come stay at my base. Instead, I found something even cooler, a Pokemon trainer. I ran over to him, so excited to finally have someone I could talk to. Hey, I'm Zozo. I'm a creeper Pokemon. It's so cool to meet you. Oh wow, a Pokemon that can talk. You don't see that every day. I haven't seen a Pokemon trainer here yet either. Maybe we should team up. I'd love to, but I think I might need to become a more experienced Pokemon trainer before we can truly team up. But when I get there, I'll know where to find you. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it was a start. I started to head back to my base and used my wooden pickaxe to dig up a bunch of stone, which I used to improve my base and build myself a stone sword and a stone pickaxe. Before the day was out, a Pokemon called a Zoglin attacked me, and I was able to easily defeat it with my stone sword. After I defeated it, it dropped some rare candy on the floor, and I quickly collected it. This candy will come in handy later. From day 4 to day 5, I woke up and felt ready to eat that delicious rare candy I'd collected from the Zoglin the previous night. It's been a long week. I think I've earned a little treat. The second I ate the rare candy, I felt myself evolving and getting stronger. I got bigger. I now had 30 hearts and a brand new attack to use on enemy Pokemon, Fire Breath. Whoa, it looks like I'm a fire-type Pokemon too! I spent the rest of the day in the Mojave Desert, which was even hotter than the one around my base. It was sandy everywhere, so I collected some sand blocks to use later. Then, I ran into a sandwich.
Hey there, little creeper Pokemon. I actually saw a few more of your kind not far from here. You should go see them.
So I did. I searched around until I found a little group of creeper Pokemon just like me. I was so happy.
Creeper, creeper.
Yeah, creeper. How about you guys come and stay at my base? Us creeper Pokemon should stick together for safety. We returned to my base in the lush red desert and found that a Wither was waiting outside. This wasn't good. Stand back, guys. I'll deal with this. I ran in and used my new Flame Breath to destroy the Wither. Being a fire-type Pokemon was a lot of fun. From day 6 to day 8, I met up with the Pokemon trainer again, and we went exploring together, searching for some food. And not long after finding some, we went into a nearby underground cavern to do a little bit of mining. It's super dark in here. Don't worry, trainer, I can light the way. I breathed a jet of fire and lit up our way, seeing some iron ore in the blocks beneath us. I grabbed my stone pickaxe and started mining until I collected some ore. We built a furnace in the underground cavern and used the ore to create an iron sword and an iron pickaxe. Now I'm stronger than I've ever been. With our new equipment in hand, we went to the oasis to relax and spent some time in the sun next to the nice cool water. But not everything was so peachy in the oasis. We were suddenly attacked by a giant monster known as the HYDRA. Even with all my new equipment and my fire-breathing power, I couldn't hurt him at all. Get out of here, Zozo. I'll take care of him. You need to get to safety. So I did, because it was all I could do. My Pokemon trainer and the HYDRA fought until, in the end, neither of them remained. No! I started heading back alone. I felt so terrible. I'd lost everything. But on the way back, I ran into a friendly Myrmex queen.
Hello, little creeper Pokemon.
Hey, sorry if I seem a little down right now. I just lost a friend of mine.
Goodness, you can talk? That's incredible. I didn't know creeper Pokemon could talk.
Me neither. I might be the only one.
Well, if you lost your friend, perhaps I'll come stay with you. You shouldn't be alone on a night like this.
I would love that, Myrmex Queen. The Myrmex Queen and I returned to my base, and I created a new room for her to stay in. It was nice to finally have someone to stay with me who could actually talk. From day 9 to day 10, I woke up to find someone waiting outside my base. It was a huge, scary-looking Dread Knight, and he was here for me. Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare. I'm the strongest Pokemon gym leader in the overworld, and that HYDRA you and your friend destroyed, that was one of my prized Pokemon.
It destroyed my friend, and it attacked us first, too. How could you blame us for what happened?
Don't pity yourself. Not yet. When I'm done with you, you're gonna have something to really pity. Mark my words, you sad little creeper Pokemon. I'm going to get you.
And then he was gone, leaving me confused and afraid, not knowing what would happen next. From day 11 to day 12, I was woken up by the Myrmex Queen. She seemed incredibly excited to see me.
Zozo, I know that losing your friend was very hard for you, so I made you something that might help you process what happened. Come and see.
I came out and saw what the Myrmex Queen had created, a memorial for the fallen Pokemon trainer, so we'd always be able to remember him. This is amazing, Myrmex Queen. Thank you. Let's go traveling together. We went out to the orchard, where I hoped I might be able to find some food that would make me stronger. Instead, we just found an angry siren who didn't want to have our company. Being attacked while just going on a walk really gets me fired up. I breathed fire on the siren, defeating it, and the Myrmex Queen and I continued searching for ways to get stronger. That's when we met a friendly troll, and I decided to ask him.
Whoa, a talking Pokemon! That's exciting! If you want to get stronger, you can seek out Professor Oak.
He's an expert when it comes to Pokemon, and I've heard he's got a clinic somewhere out in the meadows.
Professor Oak, now that sounds like an idea. I'll need all the help I can get to be strong enough to defeat the Dread Knight. Wanna come stay at my base in the meantime?
Sure, that sounds like fun.
We went back to my base with the troll, and I built a new room for him to stay in. I wasn't so lonely now. From day 13 to day 15, I went off into the meadows to seek out Professor Oak. If that Dread Knight guy really was after me, I needed to get evolved as quickly as possible. While traveling through the meadows, though, I got attacked by a terrifying dragon-type Pokemon, the Lightning Dragon. There's no way I'm ready to face that thing. The Lightning Dragon was heading straight towards me. I tensed up and prepared to get destroyed, when suddenly a huge energy blast struck the side of the Lightning Dragon, defeating it and saving my life. When I turned and saw who fired the energy blast, it was just a tiny little pixie. I immediately ran over to thank her. You saved me there. I'm Zozo, and I'm so grateful for the help you gave me. If there's anything I can do, please let me know.
I'd always do whatever I can to help out a kind stranger. But sadly, I used up the last of my magical power to defeat that dragon. Do you think you could go and defeat the ghost-type Pokemon who's been haunting the meadow?
After the way you saved me there, it's really the least I could do. I traveled further into the meadow until I saw the spooky ghost type floating around. Thankfully, the undead hate fire, and with my fire-breathing power, I was soon able to defeat it. This ghost is toast. I then returned to the pixie to give her the good news and ask her if she knew anything about Professor Oak.
Thank you for the help, Zozo. Professor Oak is out of town on a research trip at the moment, but he'll be back in a week or so.
Thanks for the heads up. At least I was able to help here in the meantime. With that valuable info, I turned and started heading in the direction of my base. From day 16 to day 19, I returned to my base, only to find it was being attacked by a deadly Gorgon. I saw the friendly troll who told me about Professor Oak running at her, trying to defend the base. But it was hopeless. She destroyed him in one hit. No, Mr. Troll, you monster! I ran in to battle the Gorgon for what she'd done. I tried to hit her with my sword and my flame breath, but neither seemed to have an effect. She just laughed at me.
You sad little creeper Pokemon. Is that all you've got? Wow, the Dread Knight is wasting his time even sending me to destroy you. I've got better things to do. Later, loser.
With that, the Gorgon left, leaving me in the ruins of my base with another friend gone. At least I still had the Myrmex Queen, and she came to comfort me.
Don't worry, Zozo. We'll get back at them. And in the meantime, we'll repair the base and build back better.
I took the time to extinguish the fire around my base. Then, I returned to the underground cavern, mining more materials so I could make myself some iron armor. I can't afford to be unprotected right now. By the time I got back to my base, I found something exciting. The Myrmex Queen had invited over a bunch of Myrmex workers. They'd not only built a whole barracks for them to all live in, they'd also built a watchtower for us to keep a lookout for any more of the Dread Knight's henchmen. I ran over to the Myrmex Queen to thank her. This is amazing, Myrmex Queen. It's starting to really look like a base here.
You know what would make it even more like a base? A super cool statue.
That's an excellent idea. And in fact, I know exactly what to build. From day 20 to day 22, I was wandering around the prairie, looking for new friends and potentially new upgrades and gear. Instead, I found an angry Dread Scuttler. I really don't want to deal with this today. I defeated the Dread Scuttler with my iron sword and proceeded to collect a bunch of blocks so that I could use to start building the statue. You'll never guess what it is. On my way back through the lush red desert to my base, I found a few sheep wandering around and decided to herd them back to my base. I built a paddock to house them all. This will be perfect for gathering wool for making banners. That's when the Myrmex Queen came over to me with some good news.
Hey Zozo, I got started on your statue, and I think it's coming along nicely. But it's gonna need those new materials you gathered next.
I'll add them right away. I ran in and continued work on the statue, getting it just a little further along with the new materials I'd collected. Can you guess what it is yet? Let me know down in the comments. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the meadow, hoping that this time I'd get a chance to speak with Professor Oak. He's gotta be back from his research trip by now. Just then, from out of the grass came an Enderman, a really dangerous dark-type Pokemon. It swiped for me with its long arms, but I dodged and drew my sword. Prepare for battle! I used my Fire Breath attack to weaken the Enderman and finished it off with an Iron Sword strike. Before I could celebrate, 2 more Endermen jumped out and tried to pick up where the first one left off. I defeated them both with some difficulty. Not much later, I found a rare ghost-type Pokemon known as a Ghast. Ghost types are weak against dark types, so it must have been hiding from all the Endermen out here. Hey, Ghast, it would be safer if you came to live at my base. There are lots of friendly bug-type Pokemon there now.
No thanks, creeper Pokemon. Let's ghost hunt alone.
Then the Ghast vanished into thin air. I guess he was serious about being alone. I went back to searching, and soon I found a man in a lab coat standing in the meadow. Are you Professor Oak?
Why, yes, I am the famous Professor Oak, world-renowned Pokemon expert. And who might you be?
I'm a creeper Pokemon, but I can talk. My friends call me Zozo.
Well, I've certainly met talking Pokemon before, but it's always an ultra-rare occurrence. Where's your trainer anyway?
That's the problem. I don't have one right now. I was hoping since you're a Pokemon expert, you could train me so I could become stronger.
I don't see why not. I've been meaning to do more research on creeper Pokemon regardless. Let's get started.
On day 27 to day 31, I trained with Professor Oak in order to increase the power of my moves in battle. I could definitely feel that my base stats were becoming stronger. You're not just an expert professor, you're an expert trainer.
My work is almost done here, Zozo. You'll be a fighting machine after you complete the last challenge of your hyper training.
If it means being strong enough to face the Dread Knight, I'll do whatever it takes.
Very good answer. Now I will present you with your challenge. You must defeat a Wild Ravager. It is a fighting-type Pokemon known for its merciless attacks. It will be a formidable foe, but if you're ready and you believe in your training, you should be able to win.
I won't let you down, Professor.
Here are some super potions that might help you recover your hearts in the battle.
Thanks! I went to where the Wild Ravager could be found and took on the Professor's challenge. Using everything I had learned so far on my journey, I battled the Ravager. It was a tough fight, and the Ravager's fighting moves were very strong. But I was strong now too, and I managed to hang in there and retaliate with some attacks of my own. I was down to low health, but I still managed to get the win. Good thing I had those super potions. From day 32 to day 35, I told Professor Oak that I had defeated the Ravager. He seemed very impressed with my progress.
Very good, Zozo. You are one powerful creeper Pokemon now.
Thanks, Professor. You really believed in me.
And you believed in yourself too. That's half the battle.
What's the other half, Professor?
Battle. Now take this league badge to prove that you've got what it takes to be a champ in the making.
All right! I decided to return home to base to tell the others the good news about my training. I had made it all the way back to the Mojave Desert when I saw the Ghast from earlier, and they were in trouble.
Help! Help! An evil gym leader is trying to capture me!
Evil gym leader? That sounds like… Oh no, it is! The Dread Knight was here! I didn't expect that I'd run into him so soon.
Stop running away, Ghast! I'm trying to add you to my Pokemon team! A spooky ghost type would make an excellent addition!
The Dread Knight didn't see me yet. I could sneak up on him and attack. But what if I lost? I might have earned a league badge, but he was still a gym leader. For now, I have to retreat. Sorry, Ghast. If only you'd listened to me before. A little later, I was at the Oasis, still trying to find my way home, when I ran into a giant pig Pokemon, the Piglin Brute. No problem, pigs are usually normal type, so this should be a cinch. But it wasn't as easy as I expected. The Piglin Brute had so many hit points, and its attacks felt like critical hits. Oh no, am I too weak to fight this Pokemon too? I ran away from the battle and continued on for home where I thought I'd be safer. I couldn't believe that I was still so weak after all the training I did. From day 36 to day 39, I arrived home safe and sound, except the base wasn't safe or sound. It was being attacked by the Gorgon again. Oh no, last time I fought her, I barely did any damage.
We meet again, Zozo. Have you come home so you can lose to me again?
No way! If I don't step up and beat you now, the Myrmex Queen and all the others will be in danger.
Suit yourself. I'm going to enjoy this.
We began to battle, and once again, my fire breath and sword attacks were not very effective. And that's when it hit me. Gorgon must be a rock type, and that's why she has such high defenses. But there's one way to deal with rock types, a fighting type attack like Rock Smash. I unequipped my sword and attacked with my fists like a fighting type. Somehow, it actually damaged her.
What? I'm hit? Enjoy your victory while you can. You still aren't worth the trouble.
Gorgon left the base. I guess my training with Oak did pay off. The Myrmex Queen approached me, looking proud.
Zozo, you're back! And not a moment too soon! I just heard there was a power bracer in the lush red desert. If you could get it, you'd be able to upgrade your attack power to the next level.
That sounds like just what I need. We should go find it. I took Myrmex Queen with me, and the two of us went to the lush red desert to search for the power bracer. We didn't get far before we encountered another wild cockatrice. They must be really common for fire types. There was a villager in danger of getting scorched, so I stepped in to help out, striking the cockatrice down with my sword. Thank you for protecting me. You're one friendly Pokemon. Here's a map to the beach where you can find some treasure. Gee, thanks. We said goodbye to the villager and kept searching through the desert. We found the power bracer without needing to worry about another fight.
Great job, Zozo! Now let's return to base and get it equipped.
I got excited and I tried the power bracer on. It fit like a glove and I could feel the power already. We went back to our base afterwards. From day 40 to day 43, the Myrmex Queen and I decided to do a little bit more traveling. That villager we saved the other day had told us about a beach where we could get treasure, and that sounded just too good to pass up. The map we were given showed us the way to where the treasure was. We decided to take a route back through the Forgotten Forest, and that's where we encountered some more Ghost-type Pokemon, a horde of skeletons! Hasn't the Dreadnought been catching Ghost-type Pokemon? I'll bet these are his!
They can't beat us if we work together, Zozo.
Together, the Myrmex Queen and I reduced the Dreadnought skeletons to a bunch of bones. With all the upgrades I had gotten, it was no sweat. It looks like there was one we missed, and it's getting away. But I guess running from stronger Pokemon is what you'd expect them to do. We made our way out of the Forgotten Forest and into a rocky beach. This must have been the place where the treasure was. Sure enough, there was an open mining pit with a whole bunch of diamonds, ripe for the taking. Sweet! From day 44 to day 49, I was back home at my base, doing some training exercises by myself when Myrmex Queen showed up. Hi, Myrmex Queen!
Hi there, Zozo. I've done a bit more of my part to the statue. Do you mind adding some details to it when you get the chance?
Sure, I can actually do that right now. I went to the statue and began to add some special blocks in order to really make it look good. You can almost tell what it's going to be now. It'll be really exciting when it's complete. I worked on the statue for a bit longer before I noticed that a traveling trader had come to provide us with some hyper potions for the price of some emeralds.
These are some quality potions. You can trust me. Better than super potions, that's for sure.
We were running very low on healing items. I didn't have any emeralds on me, but luckily the queen had some and brought them from storage. That should do it. I bought the potions and thanked the trader for his service. The base was attacked again, right after he left by another dark Pokemon, a Wither. Good things I've been practicing my fighting moves. Hi-ya! Take that, evildoer! The Wither was defeated, but I knew I had to make sure the base was more defensible against enemy attacks. So I went and built a perimeter wall that would make it way more difficult for intruders to get in. From day 50 to day 53, I was collecting more supplies in a nearby prairie when one of the Myrmex workers from the base came and found me. He told me that the Myrmex Queen had been captured by a Pokemon trainer. Probably not a very nice one either. The Myrmex Queen was a good friend to me, so I knew that I had to go search for her. But I also knew that I would need some help. I decided to go talk to the smartest person I knew, Professor Oak. He was an expert in all things Pokemon, and he might know what kind of trainer I'm looking for too. Fortunately, he happened to be close by and researching the local Pokemon. Professor, please, I need your help.
What seems to be the trouble, Zozo?
The Myrmex Queen was captured by a Pokemon trainer, and I need to find her.
That is rather troubling. I would suggest looking for the bug catcher. He's the kind of trainer that specializes in capturing bug-type Pokemon.
That sounds like it's worth a shot. Thank you, Professor. The professor had given me a clue I could use to possibly find my friend. I would save her no matter what, even if I had to fight more skeletons. Speaking of, oh boy! There were some more of the Dreadnought's ghost-type skeleton Pokemon hanging around, but at this point in my journey, battling them wasn't much of a challenge. This time, I defeated every one of them all by myself, and one of them dropped another rare candy. I had better hang on to that for later. From day 54 to day 57, I was in the Mojave Desert again, searching for the bug catcher who might have captured the Myrmex Queen. The bug catcher took my friend. They must be the worst. And as if on cue, the Dreadnought jumped out.
I wouldn't say that. After all, they can't be worse than me. I'm the worst of the worst.
Dreadnought, what are you doing here?
I like tormenting you. Everyone knows that it is always best to capture a Pokemon when it's weak.
not as weak as I used to be. And now I'll show you! I gave the Dread Knight a few good hits with my sword. He didn't seem to be that hurt by it, but I could tell I was doing a bit of damage.
You do have some fight. I guess I'll have to weaken you a bit more before I capture you.
He countered with a strong attack that took off half of my hearts. I wasn't going to defeat him at this rate, but at least I had put a scratch on him. Time to run away! I escaped from the Dread Knight and definitely didn't want to have another fight so soon. Fortunately, I found the same friendly villager who told me about the treasure. Have you seen a bug catcher anywhere? Now that you mention it, I think he was in the prairie not too long ago. Try over there. Thanks. I went to the prairie, but I didn't find the bug catcher or the Mermex Queen. I did find a bug catching net on the ground and one of the Mermex Queen's eggs. Oh no, it's true. The bug catcher has captured my friend. I wanted to go after him, but there was no sign of which way he went or where he might be now. From day 58 to day 62, I returned to my base, frustrated by the lack of leads when it came to rescuing the Mermex Queen. The Mermex workers were worried sick about their queen. I had to set a good example, so I went mining for some stronger materials. I found more diamonds, and with these and the treasure I found on the beach, I was able to create a diamond helmet and diamond boots. With my remaining diamonds, I crafted a diamond sword to match my armor pieces. I knew they'd be much more useful if I enchanted them, so I built an enchanting area into the base so I could do just that. These diamond armor pieces will really boost my defense stats. I went back out searching for materials because items are just as important in Pokemon battles as abilities are. The underground cavern I was exploring was dark and full of rock and ground-type Pokemon. It also had a hidden treasure in the form of a battle axe. I gave the axe a few swings, and I could already tell how strong it was. I could do some really damaging moves with this thing. The battle axe worked really well on the rock types in the area, so I know it would prove effective on Gorgon too. I returned above ground to base and found that the Ghast was waiting for me.
I have escaped the Dread Knight, and I have some news for you.
What kind of news?
I've heard that the bug catcher is trying to become stronger so he can fight the Dread Knight. He's trying on the coast right now.
That actually helps. You're welcome to haunt the base. I'll be back later to help you settle in. For now, I'm gonna go save the queen. From day 63 to day 66, I gathered my strongest equipment and items and prepared to leave. While I was still there, Professor Oak showed up.
Hello, Zozo. Take this charged coal. You'll know when the right time to use this is.
Thanks, Professor. I might be gone for a while, so watch the base for me until I get back. I headed off in the direction of where the bug catcher was training. Like most Pokemon trainers, bug catcher seemed to move around a lot. Hopefully, I would reach where he was before he moved on to a new region. I didn't stick around too long in any of the places I went before, but I did encounter a Wither. Let's try out that charcoal. The charcoal made my fire attack stronger, and I was able to wipe out the Wither in a single fire attack. Wow, Zozo! That was an impressive fire-type attack. Do you think you could help me light up the fireplace in my house? What are friends for? The villager showed me his cabin at the oasis. I lit the fireplace up so that he could get comfortable and stay warm. That was really helpful. I'll sure to do something nice for you next time, friend. From day 67 to day 70, I found the bug catcher on the rocky beach, and the Mermex Queen was with him. It looked like they were both in the middle of a Pokemon battle with the Dread Knight's skeletons. Mermex Queen, I traveled all this way to save you from the bug catcher.
Zozo, a friendly face! Give me a hand dealing with these skeletons!
I swung my diamond sword over and over at the skeletons, destroying them one by one. I am the Creeper Pokemon! Fear me! While Mermex Queen and I battled, some of the skeletons snuck up behind the bug catcher and took him out.
Well, so much for that trainer.
Didn't he capture you?
No, I went with him to try and trained to fight Dread Knight on my own.
You were training, like me?
I thought I could solve your problem for you, but I'm sorry for worrying you.
We're back together, and that's what matters. Nothing can keep friends like us apart. Now let's take apart the rest of these skeletons. With our combined strength, Mermex Queen and I finished off the skeletons. The last one to fall dropped a spell tag, an enchantment which gives ghost-type power to items. I should use this later. From day 71 to day 74, I returned to the base with the Mermex Queen. We were greeted by Ghast, who had decided to stay after all, and had even built a place for himself.
Looks like the rescue mission worked out.
Sure did. The Mermex workers have their queen back now, and it looks like the base is now feeling a lot more like home.
Thank you for letting me live here, even though I said I didn't want to at first. Do you want to see the place I built?
Sure thing. The Ghast took me to his ghost-type Pokemon room. It was full of spooky things and sort of made me want to eat candy. This looks awesome.
Professor Oak has also decided to move his research lab into the base. You should go see.
Sure enough, Professor Oak had created a place for himself inside the base.
I'm going to get so much work done here. Your base is very advanced, Zozo.
Wow, everyone has really stepped up their crafting game. I'd better do the same. I went mining for some more diamonds to complete my set of diamond armor and tools. I used the spell tag that the skeletons dropped to enchant my diamond sword with ghost-type energy called Lifesteal. When it was finished, I went to the outside of the base where the villager was waiting for me. Hey, Zozo, I decided I'd come over and say hello. Hi, villager! From day 75 to day 78, I followed the villager back to his cabin at the oasis. I had a feeling he was going to repay me for that time I helped him. Here, Zozo, I have a gift for you because you've been so nice to me. I knew it! I mean, thanks! It's a moonstone. Try holding it and see how your power evolves. Oh, super awesome! I held the moonstone and instantly learned some more powerful moves to use in battle. I went outside and battled a few cockatrice to test out my powers. My fire breath had leveled up into a fire blast attack. Even fire types can't take the heat now. From day 79 to day 84, I made some minor improvements to the base. Now that everyone was calling it home, I had to make sure that everyone was taken care of. There were some spare materials lying around, so I crafted a set of iron armor for the Mermex Queen.
Wow, thanks, Zozo. I guess I'm a bug type and a steel type now.
You've always helped me in battle, but now you'll have stronger defenses for when we fight the Dread Knight's stronger minions.
I'll do my best in our next battles. Thank you for thinking of me.
After I finished talking with the Mermex Queen, I realized that improving the base had left me short of some key materials, so I went searching for them. While I was out in the Rose Fields, I encountered a familiar, unfriendly face. It was the Gorgon!
Your armor and weapons have changed, but you're still weak.
What do you know, Gorgon?
I know a lot more than you do about everything, including what Dread Knight is going to do next.
What is he gonna do next?
He'll become a Pokemon Master, of course. An evil Pokemon Master. Once he's done trying to capture weaklings like you.
You can call me weak all you want, Gorgon, but I don't need to prove anything to you. I'm going home. From day 85 to day 89, I left the Rose Field and returned to my base, where the Dread Knight was lying in wait.
Gorgon told me I needed to end our little cat and mouse game. So I've come here to capture you, once and for all.
If it's a battle you want, it's a battle you'll get! The Dread Knight attacked with his usual opening move, but I was ready for it, so I dodged. I struck him back with my ghost-enchanted diamond sword. It seemed to deal some real damage.
A ghost weapon? Well, that's new. Guess I don't need to hold back.
His next strike was a brand new move I had never seen before. It left me completely defenseless. Oh no, what should I do? Then I remembered I was still carrying the charged coal that Professor Oak gave me. Maybe if I used it correctly, I could evolve. The last time I needed a rare candy for that, and I have one. I know, I'm gonna use them both at once. I activated the rare candy and the charged coal together, and suddenly I evolved into a brand new creeper Pokemon form with 80 hearts!
Evolution? And so strong as well?
I believe we have a battle to finish!
Some other time, Zozo.
The Dread Knight deployed his skeleton minions and ran away, but I was eager to test out my new powers on the Horde. I had a new signature move called Falling TNT, which dropped exploding TNT blocks on enemy Pokemon. Those skeletons were dust, and the base was completely safe. From day 90 to day 94, Mermex Queen had almost completed the statue that she had been building the entire time. Wow, it's amazing, Mermex Queen!
It'll be even more amazing after you add the finishing touches. I have confidence that you'll make this statue look as incredible as I know it will. No pressure.
It took a lot of materials, and I had to mine for more several times, but in the end, the statue stood triumphantly over the base. It was a statue of Arceus, the mightiest and most ancient creator god of all Pokemon. I am humbled to be in your presence, Arceus. Next on my list of things to do was help Professor Oak become stronger so that he could help me fight against the Dread Knight. I decided to give him a potion of strength.
Thank you. And speaking of potion, you should go get some more healing potions from that merchant. We have a few more emeralds, and that should be enough to seal the deal.
Good idea, Professor. This time I purchased Max Potions, the strongest form of healing potion available. From day 95 to day 97, I went back to the Rose Fields where I met Gorgon that one time. Her taunting distracted me, so I wasn't able to search the whole biome for materials. Uh-oh, it looks like some other ghost types are here. Zombie Pokemon! There were zombies everywhere! But because ghost types were actually weak against other ghost type attacks, my ghostly diamond sword was the perfect weapon to thin them out. That's right, shamble away! I continued to use ghost type attacks on the ones that got into melee range and used my falling TNT attacks to reduce their numbers. Eventually, I had defeated or driven away all the zombies in the Rose Field. When the battle was over, I noticed there was a special sword stuck into a stone. It was a netherite sword, and it was charged with even more ghostly power than my diamond sword. Oh, this is just what I was looking for. I took the sword with me and began to walk home to my base. On day 98, I was confronted by Gorgon just outside of my base.
This stops now, Creeper Pokemon Zozo. You have gone from a minor annoyance to the one thing that is stopping Dreadnought from becoming a Pokemon Master. I'm going to end you here and now for his sake.
Well, it was nice knowing you, Gorgon.
What?
I'm feeling like a one-hit KO! I drew my fighting battle axe, knowing it would be super effective against Gorgon, and with one single slash, I defeated her! Critical hit! Now that I'd defeated Gorgon, I knew the battle with Dreadnought would be coming, so I built the perimeter wall a bit higher and gathered my max potions.
Has the time arrived for you to face your destiny, Zozo?
I don't know about destiny, but I'm definitely ready to take down the Dreadnought.
Then allow me to come with you. That way I can record what a fully evolved creeper Pokemon looks like at its most powerful. After you win, of course.
And I will! The professor and I left the base, and soon we were on the road to the Dreadnought's evil Pokemon gym. This had been quite a journey, and if you want to see more of my adventures, remember to search ZOZO to find more videos and subscribe so you can always know when I upload next. On day 99, we arrived at the Red Rock Highlands, which is where we found the Dreadnought's evil Pokemon gym.
The challenge will begin as soon as we enter his lair. Are you still ready to face him, Zozo?
From the moment I spawned into this world, I knew I'd have to fight. I'm ready as ever, Professor.
Then let's head inside.
Suddenly, the Professor and I were ambushed by more of the Ghost-type skeletons. Not these guys again! They surrounded us. These must have been the highest level Pokemon that the Dreadnought has. I could handle them myself, but Professor Oak was a professor, not a Pokemon. He was in serious trouble.
Go on, Zozo. This may look like a troublesome situation, but I'm Professor Oak. I've seen far more rare and dangerous Pokemon than this and survived. The only thing that is different this time is that I don't want to slow you down.
Professor!
Go! I'll manage somehow. Go defeat Dreadnought. He must not become an evil Pokemon Master.
I didn't want to leave the professor, but I could tell that he was serious, so I braced myself and ran directly into the gym where I would soon come face to face with the Dreadnought. On day 100, I was face to face with the Dreadnought.
Oh, it's you, Zozo.
No more running, Dreadnought, for either of us. No matter who wins or loses, this will be the last battle that we ever have. I'm not backing down.
A Pokemon cannot hope to stand against a master. I will show you the true meaning of fear. You don't have a ghost of a chance against me.
No more puns either. We clashed weapons, and I was glad that I brought my netherite sword. It was the perfect weapon to use in this battle. I was able to make the Dreadnought move back out from melee range and launch my Fire Blast attack. Now that had to hurt.
It's not very effective, you foolish creeper Pokemon.
Rats! I thought I had him.
I'm going to use my own signature move now. See if you can dodge it.
The Dreadnought created a Shadow Ball, even more powerful than his skeleton guards, and he launched it straight at me. I dodged out of the way, knowing that one hit from that would KO me.
Say goodnight, Zozo. Get it? Because I'm a knight.
That's your worst pun yet, Dreadnought.
It was Professor Oak. He had come to help. He threw a Pokeball, and instantly it absorbed the Dreadnought's power.
Now's your chance, Zozo. He could only use that move by becoming a ghost type himself. Strike him down.
Right, take this, Dreadnought. I delivered the final blow with my netherite sword. With the battle finally over, I was a free Pokemon. Well, I guess Professor Oak would be able to come up with quite the Pokedex entry for this creeper Pokemon.